Oh, damn, I should have changed that. Let me bring this up though so my yits is not just in your face. Hold on. Oh shit. Hold on. Is the yits just gonna have to be in your face? I'm confused. There we go. Hey y'all. Happy, what day is it? Monday. I am hopping on because I feel like I haven't been on. I told my mom to book you. Oh, period. I'm hopping on because I haven't been on live in a minute, and I'll be used to just getting on here and yapping. But I have been exhausted in these last couple of weeks. Like I genuinely feel like I've been in survival mode. Hey, baby. Oh, okay. Welcome, love. And I'm talking to the sacred botanist. Hey, girl. She said she don't want to do it. I want to know what her cat is saying. Oh, okay. On her own time. I think this is a lot of information for people who just not used to spiritual gifts and stuff like that. So let her reach it on her own time. That way, she's prepared for the reading. Because what I found is like a lot of times the cats, the dogs, they have a lot to say about helping people on their journey. And if you're already skeptical, it's not a good session for me because then I got to explain to you how my gifts work. Then I got to fight you on what I'm saying or why I know what I'm saying. It's just too much, girl. It's just too much. I just recently found your page and I love all your content. Oh, thank you, baby. Gee, I love your videos. I want to know what my birds are thinking. I actually have a bird coming up not too soon. I'll definitely book in. Oh, okay. Um, so yeah, but in these last couple of weeks, I have been resting y'all like crazy. Yeah, they'll be opening at the end of November. Hey, Scooby Doo. I'm doing good. How are you? Let me slow down and get off my own agenda. I see I have a lot of new followers coming through. Hey, y'all. I messaged you, baby, at you and everybody else. My messages are flooded. There's no way I can get to all of y'all. Hey, MJ. Hey, Jazz. Hey, Soar. Hey, Shawnee. Hey, T, baby. I'm doing good. Spiritual Bohemian. I'm doing really good. I needed to rest. And so I've kind of disappeared in these last couple of weeks from some of my obligations because I was tired. I think I have been in survival mode these last 4 years, 5 years really. I've been in survival mode. And I didn't realize it because I think just as like a black woman in America, you're kind of required to just keep going. And like just and sometimes you can have that subtle exhaustion that's happening underneath the surface, but you don't really get the luxury of taking a break and stopping. And so for me, I've been in survival mode for years, so much so that I wasn't recognizing that even when I was taking rest, I wasn't resting in the way that I should have. And so thank you so much. Sam. I wasn't taking the rest that I thought I was taking because I really couldn't rest in the way that I wanted to, partially because I was being spiritually attacked for like 2.5 years. And so it almost felt unsafe for me to sleep anyway. So it's like I was kind of in and out, in and out, in and out, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, it's kind of like that. And so in these last couple of weeks, because I had that viral video and a lot of people have been booking for the animal communication, it's really put me in this position where I don't have to push as much as I've been pushing in these last 5 years just to kind of get my content out there and to like help people through their healing process. Cause I don't just make animal content. Like that is so brand new, y'all. The bulk of my content is about healing and helping people to putting into words what I feel like most people can't put into words based off of, what you're going through internally. Because I think sometimes just naming it, sometimes just acknowledging it really helps us to grow and evolve and all of those things. And so I've spent these last 5 years building my platform. And so I have a lot of content on YouTube. I have a lot of like almost 500 something videos on YouTube, a lot of content on TikTok before I even got to the animal communication. So it's kind of crazy to me that the animal communication is the thing that did something like major for me, but it did. And I'm very, very grateful because it gave me an opportunity to rest in a way that I feel like I have not been able to rest in 5 years. And so I in these last 2 weeks have been going to sleep every chance that I get, like literally in the middle of the fucking day. And that is not me. I'm a generator, baby. We can push through some shit. No, I've been going to sleep in the middle of the day. And like in between clients and like all of the things, I've just been, whatever. And so Sunday, every Sunday, I usually go to the beach because I need to make offerings to the water, talk to the spirits of the water. You're going to have to go to my website, Madison, because I'm literally flooded in both of my, like in my messages and my DMs. But if you write me on my website, you have a more likely chance of getting to me. Because I typically look at those every single day. Shit. Hold on. Some try to take me out. Oh, thank you for saying that. I am rested though. That's the thing. So on Sundays I go to the beach because I need to talk to the ocean. And I also just get a lot of wisdom from the ocean. Like I feel like I'm drinking hibiscus. Taurus, anybody ruled by Venus, hibiscus is your best friend because hibiscus is ruled by Venus and it's about pleasure and beauty and all of the things. And so that's what it leads me into what I'm about to talk about. So yesterday I went to the beach. I talked to the ocean. I spent a couple hours with the ocean every Sunday just to kind of commune with Earth's womb, because that's the ocean is. The ocean is Earth's womb, and so I go and just kind of connect and make my offerings. I like to leave watermelon or like honeydew melon or like anything like that. And then I just kind of sit there for a second and more often than not, I get some type of message about something I need to work on, right? And so I went to the beach yesterday. My friend met me up there, and we just kind of like hung out for a second. It was just a good time communing. And then I came home and I went to sleep. And I had like 4 things that I had to do yesterday for clients. And so I came home, I went to sleep. I was like, let me take me a quick nap because I was home by like 11 a.m. And so I was like, okay, let me take a quick nap. I went to sleep. I woke up. I did 2 of the things I needed to do. And as I started to work on the third, I was like, damn, I'm tired again. I go back to sleep. And then I wake up probably like 8 o'clock. I do the 2 things that I had to do because I had some spiritual work to do for somebody. And then I had an animal reading that I was doing for free for somebody because we just had a miscommunication. And my books just kind of got booked out really quickly. And so people who waited a week to respond to me ended up having to book for December. And they was like, well, damn, like I booked on this day. And it's like, yeah, well, if you would have read the fucking email and responded, we wouldn't have had a problem. But it was just kind of like a back and forth. And she was about to be booked like 4 months out. And I realized that me and her had been emailing. She had been emailing me consistently, but her email was full. And so it took a second for her to actually be able to reach me. And then when she did reach me, again, it was like 4 months out. And so I was just like, oh yeah, I gave her a refund, but we kind of just had like a moment because she was just like, well, I feel like you should put that on your site. And I'm like, I did put it on my site, but she booked earlier than everybody else. And so since she was like one of the first people to book, I just went ahead and did her reading for free. And so I did that yesterday in this spiritual work I had for another client. And then I went back to sleep and I slept till 8 o'clock this morning. I woke up this morning and it's the first time that I felt rested out of 2 weeks of me sleeping all motherfucking day, multiple times a day, like every chance that I could get sleeping. And it's like, I got up and I went to shower and I like looked at myself in the mirror and I was just like, how the fuck are you feeling, bitch? Like, since when have you not been getting up and getting dressed and doing your hair and just all the things? It was like almost like I've seen myself. Then I was just like, wait a fucking this has gone on for too long, sister. Like, what have you been doing? And it was like I had a moment where I was just like, oh shit, I didn't even realize. It's like I had rested enough to realize what I needed, or like just come back into my body, like just come back into my body. Now, I don't know if I've told y'all this, but it was a lot of people who were like doing spell work and stuff on me. And I'm not even making that an excuse, but it was happening. And it was like coming after my looks, coming after my body, coming after my money, just because they were in competition with me for no fucking reason. It's childish. It's childish. I'm 34 years old. I don't give a fuck what nobody else has going on in their life. I genuinely don't. But I didn't realize how much it had impacted me. and like get the shit that was happening in my sleep because I'm a dream seer. And so like they was attacking my dream. It was just like I could not fucking rest. And I got so far away from myself that I was just like, damn. Like when I woke up this morning, I was like, damn, you are not your fucking self. Get up, sister. Like stand up. And so I got up this morning. I went to go get my nails done. I went to go get my feet done because I've been getting my nails and my feet done since I was 16 years old. In these last 3 years, I have not been able to do it. I don't know what it is. I do have black tourmaline. Listen, y'all don't need advice. I'm just telling y'all this because I'm sharing the truth from my perspective. But I know how to guide myself. Okay. Me and my ancestors are good. We like this. Okay. I had to go through what I went through because it was teaching me discernment and refinement. Everybody has to go through their own shit. It's part of the plan. It's part of what you signed up for, right? It doesn't change the fact that the shit was a lot to deal with. It was a lot to process. It was a lot to, navigate. And I was becoming a new person in the process of doing that. And so like I think some of the stuff that they tried to send at me didn't really work because they was expecting me to still be the same emotionally volatile person that I was before, and I just wasn't. I think now I've learned how to really, really slow down, and I've learned how to see the whole board before I move, which I think really, really helped me. But at the same time, it just didn't change the fact that I was going through a lot, and I just never had a chance to sit down and process. And so, what I was getting on here to say is rest is so fucking important. Sometimes you cannot see the board. Sometimes you are confused. Sometimes you don't know what next step to take because you have not rested. It's because you have not slowed down enough to rest. Rest is the state you need to be in for your body to heal. Your body already knows how to heal. Your body already knows how to do everything. You just got to put it in an environment that it can do what it needs to do, which is rest. Like you literally have to rest like it's your motherfucking job, especially if you are depleted, because I did not realize that I had that subtle hum in the background of exhaustion because I'm so used to just going. But one thing that I feel like changed for me was I stopped smoking because I've been smoking since I was also about 16. I've been smoking for a long time as a coping mechanism. But also I just genuinely like smoking. Like I'm one of those people who like give me a blunt, bitch, and we cool. I ain't got to drink. I ain't got to do that. You give me a motherfucking blue dream to be specific. Give me a little blue dream, baby. We could go all day, But the thing about weed, or specifically the weed that I smoke, is that it's an upper. It lifts me up, so I don't realize that, bitch, you're down. Like you're down right now. And so I stopped smoking just because the last little situation where somebody was sending magic at me, the only reason why they didn't hit me, but it was like a situation where my spirit team and I have like a system in my head. And so before you ever can talk to me, you have to announce yourself. And so somebody's name kept coming through and the little coven kept coming through. And so I'm like, what is this? And so I let them in to try to hear what's the fucking part? Like, what's the issue? I'm confused on why you would ever be over here. Right. And so when the shit happened, I was just like, okay. And then when I went to sleep that night, somebody tried to come into my dream space and get my name and my date of birth or whatever. And it was like I was becoming conscious as it was happening, but I was kind of high when I went to sleep. So, it took me a second to kind of get there. And then I just was like, bitch, use it if you motherfucking want to. I promise you, it'll be the last thing you do, And so I like kind of got up and I was like, see, that's the thing though. Like I've really stepped into my power. I really stepped into my gifts. It's time for me to kind of look at why I smoke. And so I did. I had a moment with myself and I realized that a big part of me smoking had to do with me not feeling like I belonged in my family, because I've always been like this. I've always been very different. I've always had a different perspective than other people. I've always been able to see what's distortion and manipulation and, whatever. And so I never really felt like I belong. And anytime that I would say something, everybody act like a hit motherfucking dog. Or like, oh, Taja, you doing too much. And it's like, no, you niggas is doing too much. I've just normalized too much, And so it was like, I just never really felt like I belonged. And I felt like a lot of times I would be treated like, I don't know. It's sibling comparison, like, it's like my brother, love my brother down. But like, he could do whatever. I had to be perfect. And even in me being perfect, it wasn't enough, And so it was just shit you go through as a kid. I'm a Taurus. But it's like shit that you go through as a kid, And so like it kind of taught me that my truth wasn't safe. Like I was unsafe in my truth. And so I spent a lot of time not speaking up for myself. And then I think what I was experiencing over these last couple months is disillusionment, because I finally am in a place where I'm speaking up and I'm in my truth. And now I'm getting spiritually attacked for it. Now bitches is mad again, So it was almost like, I don't want to say regret, because I don't regret standing up for myself. I don't regret speaking my truth. I don't regret having the platform that I have, because I know that there are many people who have benefited from me speaking up. There's many people who have benefited from me putting it out there. And that's more important than any shit that I had to go through to get me here. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it just was like, damn, like a bitch can't fucking win. I couldn't fucking win. But then, my spirit team told me it was over. Like I ain't have nothing to worry about. I'm good. Nobody's going to ever be able to touch me again. Great. Love that. Love that for me. But then I had to rest for all the times I couldn't rest. And then in me resting, I realized you ain't been your motherfucking self. And so I got up and I did an everything shower, everything, went to go get my nails done, my feet done. It's like I defrosted. I like literally woke up and defrosted and was like, hold on, bitch, you've been frozen for a while. Get your shit together. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to just get on here and say that, because I feel like it is, when you go into isolation, sometimes for some people who have like specific energy, like me, I'm a 2-4 in human design, which means that isolation is like my best motherfucking friend, right? When I go into isolation, sometimes it's really hard for me to come out that shit. Like it's really hard for me to, get back up, get out of it. And so for me to now be in a place where I am out of it, where everything, I'm having my motherfucking way, like I'm having my way. And for me to not be in survival mode no more, and just take the time to just actually, like I feel more like myself than I ever have in my entire life. Like even today when I was at the nail salon, she was about to do something that I didn't tell her to motherfucking do. And normally I just keep quiet. I didn't do that. I was like, hey sister, yeah, no, that's not what I want. Thank you, girl. But can we do X, Y, and Z? And she's like, oh, thank you for telling me. And it's just like, for me, that gets to be so fucking hard for me to just speak up, open my mouth and speak up, because people would treat me like the fucking plague for just having an opinion or having a differing opinion or whatever the fuck. So I don't know. It's just like the way that I am now is so different than how I used to be. And it's like the way that I move internally is so different. Like I don't feel the same pressures that I felt before, because it's just like, if I don't disappoint other people, I'm going to disappoint myself. So I don't care about how I'm being perceived anymore, which is a good thing. I think that this growth or this expansion that I've been experiencing over these last couple of weeks came at such a perfect time, because I'm actually at a place where I can handle it. Whereas before, I don't know that I was handling that very well, So like to be in a place where I don't really care how people feel about me, and I'm just going to say the thing, because I get so many people who are just like, oh my gosh, I have the same gift, but I used to think that I was crazy. Oh my gosh, this is what, like I'm just encouraging people to kind of stand in their power through me standing in my power. Like that is it's just worth it, And so when you discovering your truth, you're going to have to go through some shit. That's what I'm saying. When you're discovering your truth, you're going to have to go through some shit. You pick your fucking hard, but you're going to have to go through some shit, because when you decide to be different, you decide to step out into the unknown. And that means that you don't necessarily know where you're going. So it requires you to trust in your direction, trust in the feeling more than you can trust in anything else. And it's like the world stops reflecting back to you what it is that you need, because your order just got put in, and you ain't never put this order in before. So they don't really know how to do it. You don't really know how to do it. You got to get around. You got to get in there and you got to fuck it up a little bit. You got to try different things to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And then eventually, it's as you keep refining, putting boundaries in place, realizing, okay, you can't not address this situation or whatever. It's like you keep refining until you become, don't piss me off. You keep refining until you become the version of yourself that you want to be. And that's what the journey is about. Like, I think that we are taught, to stay in a place of conceptual knowing, right? And that's understanding things as a concept. We are taught to stay in a place of conceptual knowing, because a lot of us want to plan and find the perfect way to do stuff before we do it. And then that keeps us from moving, though. And we don't realize that keeps us from moving sometimes. Sometimes you have to just practice it. Sometimes you just got to show up as that version of yourself, fuck it up, get it wrong, so you can figure out how to get it right. And that's the part that I feel like a lot of people miss. But when you're in that practice stage, everything goes wrong. But the reason why it's going wrong is because you need to see what's right. We learn through contrast. You got to see what's wrong to see what's right. And that wrong don't always feel good. It feel like you fucking up and you doing wrong. Especially if you tied your worth to knowing, like I did. I tied my worth to knowing everything. I tied my worth to knowing everything because that's what kept me safe. And so I had this fear of failure. But you just got to do it. You just got to do it. You just have to do it. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to go through some shit spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. But on the other side of that is everything that you fucking wanted. It's everything that you wanted. And the way that you show up is so different. It's like you don't even think the same fucking way as you did a while ago. Like me, I don't think the same way that I thought fucking 2 weeks ago, let alone 2-3 years ago. And I don't handle things the same way. It's like real freedom does not come from silence. It does not come from isolation. It doesn't come from that. You eventually have to come back to the human experience. You can go far into the spiritual realm as far as you want to go, but you eventually have to land back in the human experience, which is how do I mesh these two? How do I bring these two back together? How do I bring spirituality into my normal fucking day? You eventually have to land back in that place. And so life is just not about what I thought it was, And so like I was in this place of disillusionment because it's like, damn, I stepped into visibility, and the same thing that kind of happened to me when I was a kid was happening to me again. But the way that I was looking at it was vastly different. And I just kept my head down and kept going because I knew that what I wanted was there. Like I knew it was there. I knew it was there. And then when I got it, it's just like, I finally could rest, and then it was just like, fuck. And then I looked at myself in the mirror like, bitch, who are you? Like, I don't even know it's you right now. Like, you need to get your shit together. But I also think that I had to go through that process of shedding too, because I had stopped getting my nails done intentionally. I stopped getting my feet done intentionally. I stopped wearing makeup intentionally because I was trying to figure out if I was doing that to perform because society said that's what I'm supposed to do, or if I really like it. Turns out, I got 3 Taurus placements and I'm a Libra rising, bitch. I love a little makeup. I love a little nail. I love a good little foot. I love a good little anklet. I love the jewelry. I love all the things. I love getting dressed. I love having my titties and my ass. Like, that is me. That's just who I am as a person. But I had to find that out for myself, which means that I had to be something different first so that I could see, oh, okay, come back to you now. Okay, you tried all that out. That was cute. That was cute now. But some of that shit was actually you, adornment. Yes, I love the adornment. Love the adornment of myself, and I spell all my jewelry too. I don't know if y'all spell y'all jewelry, but y'all should spell y'all jewelry. Look at this ring I just got, y'all. Hold on. I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me try to show YouTube. It's like a triple goddess ring with a labradorite and some rubies in the middle. Can y'all see that? Look how fucking gorgeous she is. But I adorn everything. Like I like to be adorned though. And it just, that's something that they used to do in like the sacred feminine goddess temples, was like adorn themselves. They loved aromatherapy. And so like smelling frankincense and myrrh, and just like, I love that shit. I love that shit. And I had to kind of like, I needed a second, I needed a second. How do I spell it? Oh, you spell with your intention. You spell with your intention. I also have spell oils too, though. So I use Selkie, which helps you to transform. It helps you to shed your own skin, your old skin. And so I use some Selkie oil on this, which I got from Stassi. But it's labradorite. Labradorite is about your psychic abilities. It's about your intuition, but it's also about transformation. And so I use the oil that works for that. I protect it. I cleansed it. And then I just held it in my hand and blew breath into it, because you got the breath of life. Your breath is your most powerful tool. And I blew breath into it 3 times, and I set my intentions over it, what I want to happen. And then I don't know, I combine breath with also visualization. So when I breathe in, I pull light down, and then when I breathe out, I send it through my hands into the ring, and I'm setting my intention. So I don't know how else to explain that to y'all. It's just the process that feels right. You just gotta trust your intuition. So the oil that I have, hold on, y'all. Where's my baby? That's my crossing oil. This is the oil. I love this oil so much. It smells delicious. Thank you, baby. This is Selkie oil, and it's by Anastasia. I don't know if y'all can see that. This shit right here, it smells like heaven. It smells like heaven. But it's handcrafted and spelled to aid in shape shifting transformation, incredible beauty and attractiveness, shedding old skin to bring a new you in. And so when I go to the gym, I put this on my abs. I put this on my abs. Why? Because I'm trying to shed my skin. I'm trying to become as most attractive as I possibly can, you know? So yeah, she's here on TikTok. But I also make my own oils. Like a week ago, I made this unhexing for my inner child because that's what the energy was doing. And so this is my own unhexing oil. It smells delicious too. Because I used orange. Ooh, I used orange. I used sandalwood and I used rose as like my essential oils. But yeah, you can make your own oils. I honestly feel like it's better for you to make your own shit than to get it from somebody else, because then you're putting your essence in it. And so me and my inner child make this together, because every version that you've been exists. You're not the same person that you were as a child. Y'all are different versions of yourself. So I call my inner child forward because I want to help people's inner child that feels like her. And so when I'm doing spell work for people, I use sometimes my own oils. But I also use this for me as well. So your humor reminds me a bit of my Taurus best friend. Oh yeah, I am a Taurus girl. I'm a Taurus Sun, Venus, and Mercury. Sorry, I get hot real easy. Let me just turn this on myself. But that silky, this smells so good. It's like I want this in a big can. Like I want this in like a body oil. Oh, I'm trying to figure it out. Like I feel like she got apricot in here and maybe a little coconut oil. Oh, I can't. But I love the smells. I love the things. But I wanted to hop on here and just kind of say that today because I feel like, I'm finally waking up again. Like I'm finally waking up again. I have a Taurus friend, but she mean. Oh yeah, I could be mean, girl. I just had to work through my shit because one thing my mama say all the time, she said that she is afraid for the world if I ever become a mother because I'm gonna burn this bitch down. And I said I probably will, but it'll be for the good of us all. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. That's really sweet. Y'all don't know, baby D. Period. Y'all don't know. I could be bitchy sometimes too, but it's because I got a Scorpio moon and a Mars and Aries, and that's gonna forever be my motherfucking excuse. That's gonna forever be my excuse. We're gonna call it as the stars did this to me. But I think that you kind of need that sometimes too. I think when I was on my spiritual journey in the beginning part of my life, I was almost too nice. Like, and that caused so much pain and suffering for me. Like that caused so much pain and suffering for me because I don't have malicious intent. I've never had malicious intent. I don't sit around thinking about what other people got going on. Like, I don't gossip about other people. If somebody come to me and they're trying to gossip about somebody, I'll be like, oh, I think you probably should just call them. Matter of fact, you want me to do it? Because we can all, if that's what you, because I don't want to be a part of whatever the fuck you got going on. Like, I'm just not, and with me having a Scorpio moon, it's like, I like my own privacy. So I expect that other people's privacy should be honored too. Like I'm not one of those psychic readers who taps into people's energy just because I'm in their presence. I'm not like that, so it's just like, I was really nice in the beginning part. And so because of that, my brother kind of bullied me a little bit because he was like, the world is just not like no, bitch, you need to learn how to pinch the bitch or something. So my brother kind of like jumped me in to shit. And then I don't know. I went through a lot of friendships. I went through a lot of betrayals, even in like my early relationship. Even my high school relationship was like a big betrayal. And I got college and my brother wasn't there. My mama wasn't there. And that's usually who was the firecrackers of the family, was them. And so like I felt unprotected. And then I don't know why why they restricted my live. Hold on. What do y'all be talking about? But anyways, I just was kind, like too kind. And also in like school, like I was in survival mode when I was in I've been in survival mode since I was like 4. But when I was in high school, I really was in survival mode because I felt like going to college was my way out, and so it's like I didn't take school seriously until I got to high school because I was just like, damn, Like, I need a way out of this. Like, I thought that I was going to go to college. I was going to get a degree. I was going to start making $80,000 a year, and I was going to be able to save my whole motherfucking family. Like, that's literally what's mine. And so I ain't have time for the bullshit. I ain't have time for the drama. I ain't have time for nothing. It's like I just kept my head down and I just kept going. Like, that was it. And so that wasn't the case. When I got to college, I realized that I was number one in the state for discus because I was a track athlete. And so I was always going to that college, but I was going to the college that I was going to because they had like athletic training in undergrad. And that's what I planned on doing. Well, the coach knew that I couldn't do that, but he did not tell me that. He did not tell me that until my second year. And he knew that I couldn't do that, so much so that he showed up to the meeting with the athletic training department with a box of tissues. What would you need a box of tissues for if you thought we could work something out, So it's like I felt tricked by him. I also felt unprotected by my parents because I was just like, damn, like I'm going to college. Like, y'all haven't set me up for nothing. It's just like I had to figure all this shit out by myself. Like, even for me to apply for FAFSA, I had to hack into my mama's motherfucking taxes to figure out what her social security was, because it's like I knew her passwords. And so like I had to hack into her shit to even figure out what amount to put on my FAFSA. It just was a lot of shit. And it was like, damn, like, why ain't nobody helping me? And then I get to college and it's like, I'm an athlete. I got an honors scholarship. And I gotta work. That fucked me up. And then I got friends who parents was like giving them like gas cards and who made sure they had a car and like would come to their track meets and like visit them. I didn't have that. And so I became so slighted. I was mad as fuck. I was mad. I cussed everybody out. When you in it, you don't know that there's nothing wrong. And so it's like I went through this state. I was hateful as fuck. And it was like up with anybody. I didn't care. My granny, my mama, my daddy. I stopped fucking with everybody. Like I was angry. And I fought all the time through college. And so like when people who know me from college all the time be like, it's so crazy your transformation. Yes, I know. It took a lot to get here. Like to the point where when I got out of college, I had counted the years since the last time that I fought, and that was an accomplishment for me because I was that like literally going. I don't want to say psychosis because it wasn't psychosis. It was just like everybody got me fucked up. And I took that the furthest. I ran with that down the motherfucking block. I was on my motherfucking Forrest Gump with that shit. Like I wouldn't stop. Like and so I had to kind of get my shit together. And so after college, I went through another betrayal. I moved to Orlando. I just kind of avoided things. I just was running away from things. And then my papa was about to pass away. So I moved back home. And he passed away. I moved to LA. And the reason why I moved to LA is because of astrocartography. I looked up a place that works best with my energy. And because I was like so rigid, like I think I was trying to control everybody around me. I was trying to control like the way that people show up, trying to help people heal. And they were just taking it as judgment. But it was really just like, no, like if you just tweak this one thing, you could be fucking happy. But it was because I tied my identity to this thought that if I couldn't be happy till everybody else was happy. And so I needed you to hurry the fuck up so that I could be happy. And so it was like I was just really controlling is really what it ended up being, And so LA said that I would be more liberal, I would be more open, I would be more positive, I would have great success. And so I was just like, okay, I've been wanting to live in LA since I was a child. So I just picked the date 3 months out. My papa died a month before I left. Exactly a month later, I moved to LA. And then a month after that, my cousin died. And so I had been a person who had dealt with anxiety and depression my whole life, because we just didn't have nothing. Like we didn't have nothing. I grew up in the hood at the bottom. Like half the time in the hood, you just got to fight for your life. You could be walking down a motherfucking street and the motherfucker be like, what street you from? And it's a big fucking brawl for no reason. Like you could be walking down the street and the motherfucker egg you for no fucking reason. Like it just was stupid shit. And so it's like I was in survival mode. And then coming out here, I just came out here again because I was running again. I just like needed something new. I just was tired of what the situation was back home. And when I came out here, it's like I had to be faced with a decision, because my papa died, then my cousin died, and then I was just like, you cannot go back to being sad. Like that's just it. Like you literally came out here to not be sad. And so I went through this deconstruction process, and I had to just figure it out. I had to just figure it out. And so for the last 5 years that I've been in LA, because I'll be in LA 5 years in November. Oh, I also lost my job as soon as I moved out here too. I just have been breaking this shit down, like literally going through a huge healing thing. And when I came out here, I was 29. So I was literally going through my Saturn return when I came to LA. And so I've just been in survival mode these last 5 years. I've been able to make money. I've been able to work in TV. I've been able to meet new people. I've been whatever, but it's just like I was doing the bare minimum. At first, when I got out here, I was drinking really heavy and I needed to kind of like shake that. Then I was smoking really heavy and I ain't shake that until a couple of weeks ago. But it's just like I had to unpack some things. And so like now I'm finally in a place where everything is working, where I'm getting a lot more visibility, where my content really has taken off. Because what I did when I came to LA is I just started taking people along on my journey, because I was like, I didn't have no elders. I didn't have nobody who could help me through this. And so I'm just going to start posting about what I'm experiencing. And I hope that it reaches somebody, and it just happens that it did, you know? And so, yeah. And then I just found out I was a medium. Didn't really take it serious because I had literally had 3 experiences where people off the street just ran up to me and was like, "You don't know your light. Oh my gosh, you're a medium." Da da da. I'm just like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't got time for this, bitch. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to get $1 and turn that bitch into 20, into 30, into 40, into 50. I don't have time for it. And then I went through a big spiritual attack. And when I went through that spiritual attack, it was like, oh yeah, nah, you ain't about to beat my ass in the physical, let alone in the spirit. So I got to figure out the spiritual realm. And through that, I went to mediumship school twice, because a lot of people are reaching out to me asking me like, oh, where'd you go to school? Like I went to school twice. The second teacher took advantage of me, but we ain't got to talk about that hoe. But I went to school twice, and then I started doing mediumship professionally, and I've been doing mediumship professionally for probably like the last 2 to 3 years. And I have been offering services and stuff like that. But the animal communication, I figured out I could talk to animals because my cat talked to me first. And she doesn't really talk very often, but my cat talked to me first because I was trying to figure out what to feed her. And she was stressing me out. And I just stopped and I was like, girl, you need to help me out or something. Come in, my motherfucker. I don't care what you got to do, but you are not about to starve in this motherfucker when I can get you food. You know, and so like she came when I was like in meditation and kind of like laid on me, and she told me like what she liked. And I was like, oh, thank fucking God. And also that I was just motherfucking loud, which I mean, girl, I can't fix that. I just am who I am, okay? But she talked to me, and then I had another experience where a dog talked to me who had like ate some poison or whatever. And so I was just like, oh, I might be on my Kyla Pratt, I might be on my Penny Proud, I might be Dr. Doolittle daughter or something. Like, hold on, wait a second. And then I just started offering it. And at first I wasn't posting about it. I've been actually doing animal communication for probably like, I'd probably say like 2 to 3 months, maybe. And then I was just like, you know what, let me start posting some of these, because I was getting some really strange experiences with these animals. And I was like, you know what? Hell yeah. What's crazy too is now animals come to like in my sleep. Like and they come to me as babies because they know that I'll be terrified. Like I'm low-key terrified of animals. So I don't know why the fuck they signed me up for this shit. But I have been having animals come in my sleep. And so a chimpanzee came to me, a tiger, and a lion cub. Well, all of them were babies. But yeah, so it's just been interesting. But I feel like orcas come to me in my sleep all the time. I've had dolphins come to me in my sleep as well. But yeah, so I'm actually happy about the animal communication though, because I really love and enjoy doing those. Last week I didn't have my soul school wasn't in session because we do like 3 weeks on, 1 week off. What's the name of the school you went to for mediumship? So this one was like a mediumship mentorship, and it's called the LA School of Spiritual Arts. That's where I got my mediumship license from. But honestly, I'm just gonna tell y'all my experience because I don't want to set y'all up in any type of way. Like the reason, like the mediumship schools that I went to is the reason why I teach people mediumship now, because I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed. Okay. And so like I went to the LA School of Spiritual Arts. I actually really like her. The reason why she got into mediumship is because her husband died and they were young, like 20, 24. And she was like desperate to connect with him. And so she learned mediumship and now she teaches it. But I think that my problem with her is that she doesn't really teach you anything. She literally just calls you on the phone with somebody and just tells you to read them. Me, I needed a little bit more motherfucking guidance than that, bitch, because I don't trust myself. And I think that it's different when you have a Black experience, because Black people don't get the luxury that white people get. And this is no shade. This is no shade, no tea. What I think it is that trauma for white people is a detour on a journey, right? Y'all are typically well resourced and supported, and which means that y'all nervous system is a lot more regulated than ours is as Black people. For us, trauma is the environment we live in. And so I needed you to kind of hold my motherfucking hand through this shit, bitch. And she was just like, okay, here's the person. And she kept telling me I was really gifted, but I didn't feel that way. And so like I got on the phone and I did that. Yeah. So I got on the phone and I did it. And it's like, yes, I am gifted, but I still don't trust myself. So I kind of need some type of something, to help me. And it just wasn't that. And so I was just like, okay, so I did that. It only took me like 3 months to get my mediumship certificate. And I did. And then I did mediumship professionally. I had a couple clients, but again, I just still was feeling rocky. And so I like was scared of getting it wrong. That's what it really was. I was scared of getting it wrong. And so I found this other lady named Natalie. Y'all may know her. It's a lot of shit going on with her and people exposing her right now, rightfully motherfucking so. But I went to her for a reading. And when I went for the reading, it was almost like a line because her readings was like $440. And I'm like, oh, bitch, I'm not paying that. And then it dropped to like $250 or something. I was like, oh, let me get me a reading. And when I did, she's like, oh, I actually have a school going on. We only have like 3 months left. But if you want to join, you can. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, I would really like you in that. Cause she kept on saying like that spirit was saying that me and her were alike, but only also that she was saying like she didn't know what type of being I was in spirit because how I was appearing. I now know, but she didn't know what it was, and so I didn't realize that she was taking that as an opportunity to see me as a motherfucking lick. But I will say, because I'm an honest person, that I probably learned the most in her class though. Because it was a whole group of us reading, and it was just the community aspect of it, which helped me because I would be picking up on stuff that I feel like other people wasn't picking up on. And so I wouldn't say it. And then somebody else would say it, and I'll be like, fuck, I knew I wasn't fucking tripping. And so it just kind of gave me confidence in a way that I feel like I needed, And so even when that situation ended and shit got weird, she just started trying to compete with me, and it just was weird. To the point of obsession. Like it was still let me not even go there, but shit. But anyways, I just saw her for who she was. And so I got what I needed to get, and I got the fuck on, and once I got the fuck on, she didn't really necessarily like that, but it did teach me a lot. And so that gave me the confidence I needed to kind of keep moving forward and realize, oh, damn, you really are picking up on some shit. And so I started doing more readings. I started doing free readings. I started just doing a lot of stuff to just kind of build up my mediumship. And then I got to a place where I was able to actually teach other people. And so now I have a soul school, and my soul school name is Akara. And so the first year is about getting into your body. You do start developing a relationship with Earth, which is spell work. Okay. You're teaching like basic spell work, whatever. And then second year is about understanding energy from like energy mechanics. And so I use human design to help you to understand the 64 types because there's only 64 types of energy. If you can know the fucking energy, then you know who the fuck is standing in front of you. Okay. And what they're operating out of. So the second year is about energy mechanics, and then psychic development. And then the third year is mentorship. But I'm in this place because I just had this moment where I was disillusioned and I finally got rest. I'm in this place where I'm trying to figure out if that's something I still want to do, because I don't necessarily like chasing people down for money. Like that part about it, it really irritates me, and I feel like it's been a couple of different issues within that. And I just don't like that. Like I don't have like having conversations about that. I just don't. And then like I also don't like that sometimes people will project that shit onto me. And it's like, no, you are feeling insecure about something. And because you don't trust people, you're assuming that I am that same type of person. And I don't fucking like that, because I've never showed you any inclination that I am that person, And so you're trying to project onto me, oh, you're being defensive, you're this. And I'm like, oh, I'm not being defensive. I'm just supporting you in whatever it is that you decide. Like, I don't, so it just, I don't know. I don't know if I want to continue doing that, because in September, I want to open up a new like a new class. Like I want to take in a new group of people. But I'm like, if this is how it is with like 30 people, how is it going to be with 100, 200 people who are trying to learn that gifts? And so I'm really in this place of restructuring where I might do a Patreon instead. That way I can keep the price a little bit lower, because right now it's $111 a month. And we meet 3 weeks on 1 week off for 9 months. I actually have a team, y'all, which I love them. Hydra and Jayla have really been helping as much as I let them help, because I gotta let go of my little control issues, because I'm Taurus Scorpio. Okay, that's control issues. But I am thinking about making it a Patreon, and like that way the pressure don't feel like pressure to me. And so I already have a Patreon, but I'm not doing anything with my Patreon. And I think that might be a good use, because I prefer getting on live and talking about stuff. Like I don't like feeling like every single day, every week at this time I have to be somewhere. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I feel like there's a noose around my motherfucking neck or something. And so I got to find a way to do that in a better way that kind of suits me. And so I think I might be going through some changes or something when it comes to that. Because I think once I got the rest that I needed, I started to see like some of the stuff that I was doing out of survival mode, or I was doing because I felt like I either needed the money or I wanted to help people in a way that where I could keep it in a contained environment. And I don't know, I'm just changing as a person. And so I need to honor this new version of me that's kind of stepping forward, which is more me than I've ever been. I just got to figure out how to do the things that I'm going to do and what it is that I'm going to continue to do as well. Like I love the oversoul design readings, but I would rather teach that than actually do the readings themselves. Even though I like doing the readings, because I think that I understand energy in such an intricate way that sometimes it's like I know how exactly what it is, and I can give examples and I can whatever. So I'm battling with that. I also do something called sacred parent codes, which is like energetic, teaching you how to energetically parent your kids. And I actually really love those as well. I don't see anybody else doing stuff like that. I do consultations and divinations, which I really like, because I like doing spell work. I mean, I think that that's a way for you to really be creative, and like it's just a way for you to be creative. And when I think of something new or something brilliant, it's just like, yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, I like that. But any spell work I do is for me. It's for the betterment of me. I'm not worried about nobody else and what the fuck they got going on. Like I said, it's about confidence. It's about releasing that self-doubt. It's about mental clarity. It's about, and so the whole calling forward my inner child to help her, to help me to make the unhexing for the inner child, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant idea, So it's just like I don't know, like I want more people to have access to the space. When I started Soul School, it was like there's an application process, and then there's an initiation fee, and then it was like just a lot more than I feel like there's just a lot more than I feel like I want to dedicate myself to at this point in my life, because I've been in survival mode for so long. I just want to be free. Like I just want to be free. I feel like I defrosted overnight, and I want to have more lived experience. I want to try new things. I want to explore myself a little bit more. And it's like a situation where some people who have been following me for a while are probably like, damn, bitch, you change directions every 5 seconds. And it's like, yeah, that's what life is about. You have to get in there and try it to figure out whether or not you like it, So yeah, I think I might do mediumship and Patreon. I think I also might do spell work too, because I think, I think everybody got to have their own practice, but I think everybody should develop their own practice, but you still need to understand the basics, and you need to understand the order of things, because you can't just be doing shit. And that's what the people who's hit me with got yourself fucked up, because you cannot just do shit without asking the spiritual realm. Like you need to divine before you do work, period. And you can't just, I'm just trying to help my friend. No, not if they ancestors say no. You can't just bypass their ancestors. Like it just doesn't work that way, And so it's like setting you up on a good foundation, but then also just co-working. Like what I do with my class sometimes is on Fridays, I'll be like, okay, the theme is self-love. Figure out what it is you want to do for self-love, and you bring that and you do that, and we're just working together. Like I made an oil last time, but somebody did like a honey jar, and another person did like a spell candle. Another person did a spiritual bath. So with Epsom salt and the Himalayan salt, whatever the fuck, it's like you don't need to necessarily do the same thing, there is a way for you to kind of just explore yourself and explore your connection with earth. And you need a connection with earth because earth is everything. Earth is the God in this reality. You know, you were made in her image, the goddess energy. You know what I'm saying? So I think I will teach oversoul design. I am going to teach that in second year of school, but I just don't know if school is going to keep being done the way that it's being done. Of course, the people who took it this year, I'm probably going to follow and see them through, just because that's something I don't like, breaking promises and shit like that. So I'm probably going to see them through in the way that I'm doing it. But I think I might do something like on Patreon or something like that, and then maybe that'll be easier for me to kind of do more. And again, I just kind of want it to be more affordable too, because it's like, yeah, the work is the work, but you know, I don't know. I'm just going through some changes, and I'm just trying to honor them changes a little bit. Um, so yeah. Did you do anything different to activate and evolve your mediumship, or you just became more aware? I think a lot of it has to do with listening, like practicing listening. That's what it has to do with. Because when you listen, you open yourself, and most of us just don't know how to receive because we've only been taught to get things through effort. And so the simple things feel hard to us because we've never had to do them before. And we cannot conceive that it would be that fucking simple, but it is. And so it's learning how to sit in stillness, learning how to listen, learning how to hear your own voice. I think the best thing that ever helped me was sound healing, but also sitting in complete darkness and complete silence for at least 15 minutes a day. Because when you are in complete darkness, you can't see anything. Your perception has to rewire. Your nervous system has to rewire, and it switches to your second mode, which is healing. Right. And so what happens after you get out of darkness is you feel more rested and more in your body than you ever have, which means you're more sensitive though. And so I think the sound healing helps with the emotional residue, like moving the emotional residue. Also getting your minerals as well, because that a lot of what we consider to be like personality traits, like people pleasing and stuff like that, has to do with mineral deficiency. And so getting your minerals, sound healing, sitting in darkness, those are three basic things that you could do that will quite literally change your environment and change the way you're perceiving things. But the thing about becoming more sensitive is that you're going to feel a lot more. And if you're avoiding what you're feeling because you're trying to avoid specific experiences, it is going to be really hard because you're going to still be braced for danger. So I think getting your nervous system to feel safe first is the priority. And that's what we're doing in this first year of Soul School, is about getting into the body. I use YouTube, but I also have sound bowls. They just on the floor. I have sound bowls. I have Tibetan bowls. I got all kind of shit up in here. But on YouTube, I like Meditative Mind, Ninad, and Chakra Vibrations. Meditative Mind, Ninad, and Chakra Vibrations. The three things I said is sound healing, getting your minerals, which I would do black seed oil, fulvic acid and trace minerals, sea moss, because those have like 92 minerals that you need. Ormus is another one that's a trace mineral. Shilajit, which also has like 92. So if you drink tea, you could just put a little dollop of Shilajit in it, and that gives you the minerals that you need. But you need sound healing, minerals, because minerals actually help you to process your emotional landscape. Sound healing helps you to restructure the water in your body and to move stagnant energy that's stuck, emotional experiences. And then the last thing is sitting in darkness for at least 15 minutes a day. Complete darkness, complete silence. It literally changes everything. It puts you back in your body. Iodine clears the pineal gland and minerals stuck in the joints. Oh, that's good. Ormus does helps to activate the pineal gland as well, which is a really good one. YouTube is Meditative Mind, Ninad, and Chakra Vibrations. Those are my favorite. Meditative Mind, Ninad, and Chakra Vibrations. But yeah, I think your gifts really have to do with you learning how to listen. Like you genuinely just have to learn how to listen, because you have to learn how to open. And most people will try to go into mediumship and they're trying to read something. That is not how it works. You are opening yourself up and you are receiving something, which means getting your body really still and noticing what's there. And so like a great thing that you can do, or a great practice you can do, is staying in the present moment, which means noticing what's already in your environment. And you can't do that if you focus in the future. You think you need to be somewhere else. You need to be where you are and then notice what's coming up and kind of track it. What patterns do you see? What do you think it tells you? Because I think that people don't realize your gifts is just high pattern recognition. You're able to see patterns. You're able to, organize them. Hey, love, I clicked your link and it didn't. All of my books are closed right now, y'all. Because I'm booked out through January. And so I didn't want to keep booking because, again, like y'all can see as of today, I'm always a different person. And so in 5, 6 months, I'm going to be a whole different, I don't even know what I'm going to be offering then. And so I closed my books down into the end of November. When I open them again, I'll be booking for January. So could sound healing help get over heartbreak? Yes. But so could plantain, which is a herb, by the way. Plantain. So could basil. So could eucalyptus, which helps with mental clarity. So could, hold on, there is a very great one that goes underneath the radar. Rainbow obsidian. Yeah, that's a crystal. Rainbow obsidian helps with grief. Okay, get you a rainbow obsidian, but you got to activate your crystals, right? So when you get a crystal, right, you have to blow on it 3 times. Why? Because you have the breath of life. You have to blow life into it. You have to chart. You have to open it. You have to activate it. So I blow on my crystals 3 times. I close my hand around it and I ask the crystal to give me a sign if it wants to work with me. This gets really cold. I've noticed that they either get really cold or they start pulsating. This one is getting really cold. That is a yes for me. Now it is active, and now I just need to tell it what I needed to do, and I set it on my body. I usually set it on my heart space just because that's the center of all your chakras. A lot of things is anchored into the heart space, or you can set it on your third eye, whatever you're trying to work on. But rainbow obsidian, yeah, works really well. Fluorite, really well. And the thing about rainbow obsidian and fluorite is that they both protect your energy too from external forces. And so if you feel like you're under spiritual attack, rainbow obsidian, fluorite, indigo GABA. What else? Black tourmaline, selenite. All of those are great crystals for helping to shield your energy. But fluorite, rainbow obsidian, indigo GABA, those will shield you from any external experiences. You know, smoky quartz will ground you in your body. Blue lace agate and lapis lazuli will help you with speaking up for yourself. You know, what else do I got? Lemurian healer quartz. Lemurian record keeper. This is a master healer crystal. This is a master healer. Labradorite as well. Labradorite. Sister girl don't play. Labrador, you can feel labradorite. This is one of the most powerful crystals I've ever come into contact with. Labradorite and Lemurian records keeper. This is a master healer crystal. This is a clear topaz. This comes from ancient Egypt. This is also a healing crystal. What else? Moonstone is great for emotional healing. Hold on. My books are closed, y'all. My books are closed. I also have a Lemurian healer quartz as well that works well. But yeah, you got to start working with the crystals because the crystals are the bones of earth. Your bones are crystals. And so when you get a crystal and you lay it on your body, it's especially your sternum right here. When you lay it on your body, it makes the crystals that are already in your body start to hum. Okay? Don't sleep on fucking crystals. And crystals are conscious as well. I talk to crystals. I talk to plants. I talk to, when I say plants, I mean herbs. Like the herbs will tell me which herbs to use for what I'm trying to do. I don't even have to think about stuff because I'll just be like, okay, I want to do a spell for X, Y, and Z. And then it's just like basil, thyme, this, wormwood, yarrow, nutmeg. And then when I look it up, it's like, oh, this is perfect for what I was looking for. You know? Can you make a video of crystals and purposes so I can save it? I can't, friend. Because you remember when I said that I was tired and that I'm just getting my life back. I'm trying to, this will be on YouTube though. This will be on YouTube. So you can watch it there. But I'm trying to do less of what people are asking me to do, because that's when I start leaking energy. I love y'all though. I love y'all. Damn. Y'all gonna have to go find it in these lives. This will be on my YouTube as soon as we get off though. Rose quartz. Don't sleep on her. This baby right here get you the fuck together. Okay? Anything that had to do with love. Her, Big Bertha. Don't sleep on Big Bertha. And I used her for a lot of my healing too. I got her from TJ Maxx for $35. Yeah, don't sleep on Big Bertha. Also, Rhondadite. This is Rhondadite. Okay, this is empathy. This is compassion. So if you feel like you losing empathy for people because you just tired and you tired of telling people the same things, and Rhondadite or Rhodonite, whatever the fuck it's called, it's something like that. Okay, this is what she looks like. She got little black speckles on her. People push astral projecting as demonic. Yeah, I bet they do, because they don't want you in your power. They don't want you in your power, because when you in your power, you cannot be governed, and you realize you don't need a government. You know? So you got to understand that stepping into your power, stepping into your truth, moving with your truth is the best thing you could ever do for yourself. And people ask me all the time, like, how do I develop my gifts? How do everything? Even you don't need a doctor, because when you are moving with your truth, you are humming at your original frequency, right? Which means that your body kind of heals itself like a cat. And it's not that you have to hum, it's that your bones are humming, because you're moving with your truth. You're in alignment with yourself. There is no cancer, no nut, because all that shit comes from suppression. All of it comes from you being out of alignment. And so if you move with your truth, nothing can touch you. You become almost invincible, and those lower frequencies can't even see you no more, because they have to stay where they are, because they skip their heart space, which means they can only elevate through the sixth density. You can get above them and never have to worry about them motherfuckers again. That's their biggest fucking fear. And so your truth comes from feeling. You have to feel. The feeling itself is not you, though. The feeling is information. It's the key that unlocks the door to your truth. And so you got to feel and be honest about how you fucking feel, which means you can't be worried about regulating somebody else's emotions or disappointing somebody else. No, you need to sit with yourself and figure out how you feel and be honest about how you feel. You are not going to be able to change other people. So hang that shit up. You're not going to be able to change them. The only thing you got control over is you. And so what you need to do is, what do I need to do differently? What do I need to communicate? And then if I communicate this and the person invalidates how I feel, am I willing to walk away? The answer should be fucking yes. Because if you don't, you're not moving in alignment with your truth. You're choosing to stand in place with a motherfucker who may not ever decide to move. You know? And so the journey is about you, but I think we live in blame consciousness all the time. We always focused on what somebody else is doing, or feeling like somebody else is doing this or somebody else is doing that. Yes, they are, but you can't do anything about that though. So just acknowledge and accept, damn, this is not what I thought it would be. And I think it'd be the hardest when it's y'all parents. Damn, they're never going to be the person I need them to be. Accept that and then move on. Because you don't need other people to be anything to you. You need you to meet the need that you are not getting met by other people, so that you can stop looking for somebody to do it outside of yourself. Because if you're looking for somebody outside of yourself to do it, even if they come in and do it, the moment that they leave, that shit is gone. Why would you want to do it that way anyway? You know, you shouldn't want to do it that way, because you don't want nobody to walk out the motherfucking door with your love. So you got to figure out how to do it for yourself. You know, accept it for what it is. Because I think I had a reading not too long ago, or a couple of days, with somebody who was just like, yeah, but I used to be like that. Oh, yeah, I used to. I was just like, stop, nigga, please stop. Accept what is. Throwing a fit about it don't get you no motherfucking where. You just gonna stay there, standing in place, throwing a fit because you don't like the way that life is. Life is just life. It just is. We are the ones who decide good and bad. You know, and it's not. I don't say that to lack compassion. Okay, because I went through the shit too. It fucking sucks. But you can't get anywhere doing it the way that you're doing it. And so you coming to me for help, you damn well better be ready to hear the truth. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat that shit. I spent so much of my career trying not to disappoint people, or just trying to, like, if you gave me pushback, I was just like, okay, well, they got it, whatever. I can't do that no more. If you come over here, you're getting the truth. If you don't like that, if you want to be mad at me, be mad at me. I don't care. But that's what you paid for, so that's what I'm going to give you. Yeah, this will be on YouTube. Somebody asked about Moldavite. I love Moldavite, y'all. Look. I love Moldavite. Moldavite is not for the weak, though. Don't think that you better be ready to motherfucking change, because Moldavite is going to remove everything out your life that doesn't belong. Everything. It don't fucking play. It don't discriminate either. It don't give a fuck that that's your granny. It don't give a fuck that that's my man. It don't give a fuck. It don't care. So this will fuck everything up, but it's only to put you on a better foundation. It's only because you keep lying to yourself. Moldavite to come here and snatch all your shit. Now, bitch, build it over. That's literally what I feel like she does. I love burning Moldavite incense, though, because I'm always in a place of transformation. If it don't benefit me, it shouldn't be here, and I mean that. I don't care what it is. I'll let it all go if I got to let it all go. I don't give a fuck, because I know what holding on to it cost me. It cost me. Like I said, I got up this morning and said, who the fuck have you been these last couple years? A dead body. Want to see a dead body? That was fucking me. That was me. You know, even though I'm helping all these people, I'm whatever, I was in isolation. I was still struggling. I'm still going through my own shit. I want to surrender more to the universe. You think it's too big, sister. You surrender more to you and what you need first. The universe comes after. The universe is what happens by proxy of you moving with your truth. Surrender to you first. That'd be our thing. We so far in the fucking future. You got to be right here. What do you need? Surrender to you. The mission is you. Yes, Gio, the mission is fucking you. It is a lot more simple if you understand the mission is you. Because when y'all think the universe, y'all think it's something way far out there. You are the universe. You are the universe. It exists inside of you. You know? And so people think spirituality is hard. No, spirituality is setting your intention. When you wash your hand, I'm washing off the weight that I'm carrying that doesn't belong to me. When you go to gym, it's a self-love ritual. It's a ritual to help move the weight your family couldn't move. You know? Tell yourself that. All you do is got to tell yourself that and then go get the fuck after it. You know? When you drive in your car, shit, what do I do in my car? I put protection over my car just in case, you know, because a lot of witchcraft come through car accidents, you know, so I just protect my car and I treat my car well. I tell my car protect me, I protect her. I keep her clean. I keep her smelling good. She like Cherry, you know, Lola. Keep her smelling good, keep her clean. I do all the things. If she keep me protected, and she has. Me and my home have a deal. I clean my home every Monday. I will keep your energy moving in this home, because this is my home's body, right? I'll keep the energy moving if you don't let nothing in this bitch. I don't care what it is. Can't nothing come through this door that's not so authentic to me. Me and my home got good relationship. It's just about you being in sacred energy exchange with everything. And sacred energy exchange is just that. It's sacred. It's sacred. You are not less than anything. In fact, you are the highest thing in this reality, because you're made in Earth's image, God's image. You know, you don't bow down to no motherfucking body, but most of us have forgotten our divinity, and that's the problem. You know, when I go to a spirit and I'm asking the spirit for help, I'm not begging them for shit. Why would I be doing that? No, you do this for me in the spirit, I do this for you in the physical. You with that? It's going to be yes or no. And if the answer is no, I'll find somebody else to do it. It's as simple as that. You don't have to beg. You don't have to plead. You don't have to be fearful, because you are divine too. You just divine in the physical. They divine in the spirit. You're divine in the physical though. That means they can't get energy to move here without you acknowledging them. You ever seen the movie Coco? If you don't acknowledge them, they disappear. Therefore, they want to be in community with you. You know, if they don't acknowledge you, you don't evolve and grow. Earth needs to embody through you. Earth is humans, yes, animals, plants, spirits, the elementals, all of that. Those are all your brothers and sisters. But we don't know that. We don't understand that. And we so fucking entitled. We so fucking entitled sometimes. It's the colonizer spirit. The colonizer spirit be on our ass. So we'll try to go over into the spiritual realm and bogart our way through some shit. I don't like this bitch, so I'm gonna throw magic at her just because she said my feet is ugly. That's unjustified. You can't throw death magic at somebody just because they said your motherfucking feet is ugly, ho. It don't work like that. It has to be just, there's balance. You know, and that's why you got to talk to the spirits, because you got to understand the spirits have already lived their experience. Therefore, nobody can embody wisdom. Nobody is a better teacher than spirits who have already lived this shit. And then when they die, they anchor back into Earth's frequency, and they actually are below your feet. They anchor back into Earth's frequency, which means they anchor back into truth, because Earth is the eternal. That means that Earth is unfiltered truth. That's why everything exists here. You know? And so they anchor back into truth. They now know what they didn't know when they was alive. And so they can help you. They can help move things for you. They can help protect you. But you got to have a good relationship with them, which means that you got to give them energy so that they can do the work that you're asking them to do. They love watermelon. They love coffee. They love whiskey. They love rum. You know, pouring out for your dead homies, that is a memory. That's called libations. But you can also pour out water, and it ain't got to be wine. A lot of them like whiskey, though, especially if you go into a graveyard. Most of us will just walk through a graveyard and not pay respect to the spirits that we're stepping over. When you're supposed to leave some coin, you're supposed to leave some motherfucking whiskey or something before you just go stepping on their dead fucking bodies. We just don't know. We just don't know respect. You know, when I go to the ocean, I bring her an offering. Why? Because I'm about to partake in her beauty. Why would I not compensate her for that? And not only that, the ocean will take the emotional weight that you have been carrying off of you. Earth will take the emotional weight that you have been carrying off of you. You better damn well pay your respects. But that's the thing. We don't understand sacred energy exchange. We only understand take. Me. Me. I want to read it, but the next available was in December. Now the next available is in January, baby. Them readings are shut down. I just didn't even want to keep it up, because if I start booking y'all January, February, baby, ain't no telling what I'm gonna be on by then. I plan on being a whole new witch. I defrosted overnight. I'm about to be in the wind. Catch me outside. You know? Yeah, part of it is religion. Actually, a huge part of it is religion. Because religion teaches you to beg something outside of yourself for help and assistance. And you don't need to beg a fuck thing. But that puts you in this energy of submission and something having power over you. Don't shit have power over you. You are the most powerful thing in this motherfucker. You're the most evolved, or can be the most evolved. I ain't gonna say you are the most evolved, because half of us don't want to fucking move because we're afraid of getting uncomfortable, because we all spiritual bypass and we think us developing technology and moving in technology is us evolving. That's not fucking evolving. Not if you emotionally avoid it. That's how you evolve. That's technology is not you. Technology is the anti-you. If you start using technology, you stop using you, which is pure intelligence. Why would you trade in artificial intelligence for your actual intelligence? Because you've been told to. Because we prioritizing comfort over evolution. It's fucked up. You know? Preach, preacher. It's fucked up. But most of us don't want to do the work because we got to get our ass beat to do the work. We do. We got to get our ass beat. And I'm telling you, them motherfuckers can fight over here. They can, friend. They can fight. You gonna survive it, but they can motherfucking fight. So you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to keep your head down. Sometimes you ain't gonna be able to move that shit as quickly as you want to move it. You know, I had something on me for about 9 months that I couldn't get off because a motherfucker did some voodoo. I had something on me. I was like, oh, I hate this shit so bad. But I used it as material because it can only attach to what I have not healed. And so what are the voices saying? What is it attached to? That's the shit I need to heal. And I'm not just healing for me, I'm healing for my lineage. You don't heal your lineage by figuring out what their story was and trying to do something that no, you lived it. You was in that family. You lived it under pressure. A lot of times how you feel when you become an adult is how everybody in your family felt because they went through the same experience. They're just perpetuating it again on you, right? You don't need to know what they've been through to fix the shit. You don't need to know what your past life is to fix the shit. I actually had somebody reach out to me recently, and one thing you got to understand about me, I'm very ethical. I'm a very ethical practitioner. I don't just do everything. I'm not about to help you spiritual bypass. Absolutely not. And so I had somebody reach out to me who was just like, hey, I want to know what my past life is. I'm going through a spiritual awakening. I just feel like everything is falling apart and I just want to know what I did in the past life. How about we start with this life? How about we start right here? Because what does you know in your past life? How the fuck is that going to help you? A lot of times y'all don't realize that's escapism. Y'all, that the fantasy or the reality of something else is more comfortable than your current reality. Me, I'm not going to help you do it. I get people who come to me be like, can you tell me what he's thinking and if he actually really likes me? And I remember being there. So no tea, no shade. I understand what that feels like, but I'm also not going to help you with that. Because if you don't trust him and you need to go to somebody else to tell you whether or not this motherfucker likes you, you got a bigger motherfucking problem. Because somebody who like you is going to tell you. And if you don't know, it's because they're confused about it. Why would you want to be with a motherfucker who's confused about you? That's you asking me to validate your self-worth. Why would I need to be doing that? You need to be doing self-love work and self-respect work. And that's what I'm going to tell you. And then people get mad at me because they be like, I feel like sometimes your responses are harsh. No, they're not. They real. And I think that people be expecting you to soften the truth for them because that's the reality we live in. People are terrified of the fucking truth. I am not going to be another person who does that to you. And so I've had to have some really hard conversations with people. I've had to kind of get in the mud with some people. I've had to, but it's all out of love. That's one thing you got to understand about me. I'm a loving ass being. I love people and I don't even have to fucking meet you to love you. I think you deserve respect. I think you deserve support. I think you deserve to be around motherfuckers who actually see you, you know, because I feel like I know what that feels like to not have that, you know, so I'm not going to be another person who robs you of that, but I'm going to see you in truth. I ain't going to see you in what you want me to see you in. And that's the thing. People don't realize truth is one of your biggest gifts, but y'all don't realize that truth is a gift. That is the gift, to be able to see through illusion and be able to see straight to who somebody is. That is a gift. That is one of the purest gifts. That means you connected to earth, the God within. When you connected to your truth, you connected to earth. You connected to the universe. Now you can move however you want to move because you can see truth. I would rather develop that gift than anything else. And that starts at home. How do things make you feel? If it makes you feel good, that's a yes, move towards it. But if it doesn't, figure out why. Not what the person did and why they're not choosing you. That shit don't fucking matter. What is it that is teaching you that no other experience has taught you? What is it that you need that you're not getting? That's what you're going to turn into a boundary. You're going to see the beauty in the experience, because had you not had that experience, you would not know this thing, and you're going to move the fuck on. And the next time it shows up, now you know how to handle it because you got that boundary in your back pocket. You don't got to guess what you're going to do. You already decided. And the boundary is something that you're going to do. I'm going to have a conversation, and if they invalidate my feelings, I'm walking away. It could be that simple. Because you deserve to be in community with people who support you and see you and who don't make you feel like shit. But too many of us is trying to make fetch happen with a bunch of motherfuckers who don't even like us. A bunch of motherfuckers who don't even see us. They don't even have the eyes for us. And we keep trying to make them see us. Please see me, so I know that I'm worthy. You were inherently worthy. You were born worthy. You don't need a motherfucker to see it. You need you to see it. And that's the hard truth that I feel like people be getting offended when I say that to them. But that's the thing, though. As somebody who went, as somebody who did the work, that is the thing. I tried to do it your way. It didn't fucking work. It just had me standing in place, hurt, crying, broke down, not understanding why people couldn't see me or receive me. And all I wanted to do is give them love. People can't receive love in a reality full of distortion, because love is truth in motion. Love is truth in motion. Yep, self-worth, but also Rhodonite. This is self-worth. Rhodonite. It's empathy. It's compassion. You're welcome. Yeah, it's because you don't want to change. What I have realized in this last week in doing some consultations and divinations is that most people do not want to deal with what happens when they stand in their truth. It means you're going to have to let that motherfucker go. It means you're going to have to choose you, which is going to make other people uncomfortable, which is going to disappoint other people. Most people don't want to deal with the fallout of them standing in their truth. It's not that you don't know your fucking truth. You do know. It's that you're silencing it because you're afraid of losing people, because you have a fear of loss. You think that if you stand in your truth, you are going to be rejected and then you're going to be alone. But you're already alone. How many times have you been in relationships with people and still felt very alone? It's just you alone with a motherfucker who don't see you and who is reinforcing to you that you alone. You know? You still alone. I can't tell you how many times I've been in community with people and felt like nobody understood me and that I was completely alone, and that anytime I would say something, it was like I was the villain or I was the one who needed to be checked, or a motherfucker's mischaracterizing me when I ain't never acted like that. So I don't understand why you would think I would say some shit like that, or why you would think I would do this. It's like, where are you getting that from? People projecting their own insecurities and their own experiences onto you. But that's why you got to know who you are, and you got to stand in your truth, because when you stand in your truth, can't nobody tell you who you are. That is your power. Your power is in the tongue, right? We think that your power is in the tongue means you need to choose silence because you're going to speak something over somebody's life and words hold power. No, the power is in the tongue, because when you speak your truth, you are operating in your power. You are reclaiming your power. That is a distortion, the way that they taught it to us. The power is in the tongue, because that's how you manifest the reality you want. You got to speak your truth. Why are you speaking your truth? Because that is how you make yourself visible in your truth. If you never open your fucking mouth, nobody knows what's going on inside of your body. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows what your truth is. Too many of us choose silence because we would rather hide than to stand in our fucking truth, because we want to belong more than we want to be honest with ourselves. So there's that. Oh, you welcome, sweetheart. This will be on YouTube, y'all. But you're welcome. I think we all need to hear it sometimes. We all need to hear it sometimes. Because we're meant to be living life, and most of us are not living life because we're thinking our way through life. We understand life as a concept. We understand relationships as a concept, but we're not actually living it. We have these parasocial relationships, but we don't actually have relationships. We think we have relationships because we check on each other on social media every 2 months. You're not actually living the thing if you're not feeling fully. If you're not feeling fully, you are not alive. You are the walking dead. Because in order for you to be alive, you have to be in your body. And your body speaks through feeling. But if you're avoiding feelings because you've tied memories to those feelings, and so you're emotionally numb, you're disconnected, you are stagnant, you are burnt out, because you're not moving with your truth, because your truth comes through feeling. But we have been conditioned to believe that us feeling is a weakness, when you feeling is everything. It's literally what you came here to do, is to live. If you're not feeling, you can't live. You can ruminate, you can overthink, you can live in a fragmented version of yourself, you can protect yourself from things, but you can't actually live. You can't ever actually figure out what your purpose is or what your truth is, because you refuse to feel what your truth is. Your truth has to be felt. It can't be thought. Because whatever you think, you don't know what you know until you try to do it, which means that you have the experience, and the experience comes with a feeling for you to figure out whether or not you like it or you don't like it. That's how you live. That's how you move. You can't live up here. And that's why I think a lot of people suffer with depression, because they're trying to live up here. That's 10% of who you are. This is the 90%. You got to get in your body, which means you got to feel safe in your body. And you can't feel safe in your body if you don't have two things. One, a safe environment for you to exist in, which means get from around people who are disempowering you. If they keep rejecting you, making you feel unseen, unheard, is because those people are not willing to change. You can't be trying to fix them, because it's not your job to fix nobody. It's your job to get around motherfuckers who actually want to change like you want to change. But if they're rejecting you, it's because they don't want to change. You need to notice that and move accordingly. Don't keep sharing your ideas in a room full of motherfuckers who keep saying that's not practical, that's stupid. Oh, she thinks she better than Get from around them and get around people who actually are where you are. And then you need to speak up for yourself. Why? Because that's the only way to make yourself visible in your truth. Until you speak your truth out loud, you don't know what your truth is or whether or not you believe your truth. Because most people will say their truth out loud, and then somebody says something to combat that, and then they realize, oh damn, you know what? I actually believe that more than I believe this. My truth needs to evolve. My truth needs to change. I need to refine my truth. Or they're gonna double down because they tied their identity to their belief system, and they care more about being right than they care about being honest. That's somebody who's taught their worth to knowing, you know. But we don't talk about these things. You know, that's why I be trying to talk about these things. A lot of my lives have gone just like this, me talking about these things, because I feel like we need to. Somebody need to. Because most people are not talking about this, we don't know how to fucking navigate as humans. We know how to navigate as a spirit, working in the potential of something, but we don't know how to navigate as a spirit in a human experience, which is feeling. The human experience, the human part of you feels. And so a lot of times when people have been through shit, but like you bring something up to them that's hurting you and they invalidating your experiences because they're living above the human experience, they are somebody who is emotionally avoidant. They don't want to feel the emotion that you're navigating because they're ignoring it in themselves. And so they got to treat you like, oh, it's this simple. Oh, they got to treat you in a condescending way. They got to invalidate what you're experiencing because they've been through worse, whatever the case may be. That's them, all of them trying to avoid what they are feeling. And because you're bringing it up, you are threatening their ability to stay comfortable. And the way that they stay comfortable is through avoidance. Right? And so you got to get around people who is comfortable with that shit and keep it moving, keep it pushing. People who are emotionally available. Emotionally available people are people who are willing to change, because an emotionally available person is an open person. It's also a person who listens more than they speak. If all they do is yap, 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 and you're trying to tell them something, and they say, oh yeah, I remember when I was 8, this happened to me. I understand because I've been through the same stuff. And then you like, okay, well, I'm not trying to navigate something. Let me try to tell you. And it's like, oh yeah, girl, and then this happened when I was 8. Blah, blah, blah. Those are people who are emotionally unavailable. Those are people who don't know how to listen. Those are people who are going to project onto you because they have not met themselves deeply. They just keep repeating the same stories, looping in their trauma. And now they trauma vomiting all over you. I had 7 friends. Now I'm down to 1 or 2. Baby, it don't matter the amount of friends. That's something that shouldn't be an accomplishment, the amount of friends that you have. What should be an accomplishment is the quality of friends that you have. Quantity is a masculine thing. Quality is a feminine thing. You don't need a plethora of friends. You need good people, good friends, friends who actually align with what it is that you need. Fuck them other 5 that didn't make the cut. They probably wasn't aligned with you anyway. You know? Yes. I was so close to feeling guilty for stop talking with the person I had been friends with for 30 plus years, but I was exhausted. Oh yeah, I had to let mine go. I had a friend of 20 something years. And I told her, like, I finally stood up to her and was like, yeah, I think you're cruel. Like I don't have a problem with what you're saying to me. I just think that you choose to say stuff to me like I'm stuck to the bottom of your motherfucking shoe. I'm confused on why you choose to do it that way. I didn't say it like that. I said it really nice. And I tried to explain it to her multiple times, and she just refused to hold herself accountable and was just like, well, if you feel that way, no, not if you feel that way. She was just like, well, I'm just telling you, if you don't do this, then I'm not going to support you. Huh? What? See, what most people do that they don't realize that they do is that if people, and this is a controlling person, if they don't do it your way, they try to withdraw love. I don't fuck around with that, because there is nothing that the people that I love can do that makes me stop loving them or that makes me withdraw my love from them, unless it is a moral thing, meaning like, I don't give a fuck if you do something to a child. I don't care. That love will evaporate because you was not who I thought you was. I love that person that I thought you was. I ain't love the motherfucker that I just found out you were. Okay, if you abuse women, I don't give a fuck. You gots to go. That I don't play about children. I don't play about women. Everything else we can kind of work through. You abuse animals, I don't like that either. I don't like that either. If it's not self-defense, I don't like that. Because if you abuse an animal, you abuse a child. You abuse it. And I'm not comparing animals and children, but I just mean those are innocents. Unless the animal is trying to charge at you, that I get. Because sometimes a pit bull will run up on you real motherfucking quick, and it ain't gonna be my ass, Mr. Postman. I get that. But just abusing dogs for the sake of abusing dogs, like making them fight, feeding them blood to try to make them aggressive, yeah, no, bitch, you need therapy. Tying animals to posts and setting them on fire, bitch, you need therapy. And you're probably a serial killer. You actually need to be at the bottom of the jail with a needle in your arm. You know, it's certain things I don't play about, but that comes from you knowing yourself. It's certain things that's a no for me. I don't like integrity issues. If I can't tell you nothing, especially when your behavior is impacting me, I can't feel safe in a relationship. If my truth can't exist, if the only way for us to be in relationship is if my truth doesn't exist, that means I have to shrink. This ain't for me. You know, it's like I got my little things. You should have your little things too. Because you got to know what you need. First, you got to know who you are. Then you got to know what you need. So that you're not abandoning yourself to be in community with other people. And then y'all can create something together. But you can't figure out whether or not y'all can create something together unless you can figure out whether or not you can fully be alive in front of this person. Which means fully be standing in your truth without them feeling like they need to compare themselves or tear you down or humiliate you or make you feel small or whatever. You know, which is hard because we live in a reality or a society that is in competition. Matter of fact, I actually kind of want to see what the energy is doing. So I'm about to do a collective reading because I kind of want to figure out what we're working on right now as a collective. What's this? Which I haven't done one of these in a second. People make me their kids godparent, but refuse to show up for their kids, like taking them out for fun. Yeah. That sucks. I got one godchild. I love my godchild. Zeke. I be thinking people be wanting me to be their godparent because they know that I'm gonna do right by their kids and such, which is yeah. But I also be feeling like it's like a I don't know. I got trust issues. Let me not even say that. Cause you know, I'm still working through my shit. All right. Let's see what's going on with the collective. It'd be a trap kinda. It'd be kind of trap. Like they be seeing me doing good and they be like, oh, godparents, oh, can I send my baby? Oh, can you do this for my baby? Oh, my baby and my baby ain't got this and we ain't got that. And they know that I'm gonna do it because of the kid. And it'd be fucked up low key. Sometimes it'd be fucked up. Cause I be feeling like, but you laying next to a man. I don't understand. Let me stop. I don't understand. What is that man or them men's doing if not helping you? Hell, you giving them coochie. What's the sacred? What's they part of the exchange? You give them the coochie. What is they? It's supposed to be an exchange or something. Especially when it's a man who not even got the Trojan horse to get you through. I'm perplexed, sister. I'm really confused. All right, let's see what's going on with the collective. Men such as females with kids get on my nerves. No, the ones that get on my nerves is the one that they find out a man ain't shit and they mad at the woman for the man not being shit. And they comparing themselves to the woman and talking about superficial shit about the woman. That's spooky to me because you're a danger to women. I also don't play about that. You got all the smoke for a woman, but don't got shit for a man. And he the one who had the commitment to you. That's spooky to me. That's real spooky. And then they always end up getting humbled. And then I just got to watch that shit. And I just be like, ooh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. But at the same time, it's a man. You should have knew that was going to happen. Because he was already exhibiting the signs, sister. He was already exhibiting the signs. You was ignoring the signs because you didn't want to change. You know, but I feel like sometimes it'd be hard for people to be friends with me because I ain't just about to let you I'm just about to let you, as your friend, I think the best thing I could do for you is tell you the truth. And I think that it'd be making people uncomfortable. And when they double down, I'll just be like, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Actually, I'm a little scared. Now I'm scared. Because if you'll do that to them, you'll do that to her. And I also feel like sometimes I'll be finding people who like, I feel like, you know how like men are only nice to the women they deem to be attractive. I be finding women who are the same way. They only nice to me because I fit the aesthetic they looking for. Or like I bring some type of value to them, but then I see them interact with other women and they just be mean and rude. And me, I don't like that. I also will call that shit out. Because what do you mean? I don't make me your token uh girlfriend. Don't make me your token girlfriend, female friend, or whatever the fuck. No, I like people who are nice to women, period. I don't give a fuck what you look like, how you dress, none of that shit. Because none of that shit matters. I care about who you are on a soul level. Except for when it comes to my man, because here's the thing. Okay? I like fine things. But when it comes to women, I don't play about women. I don't play about women. Women really can't do no wrong in my eyes. Especially when it comes to a man. Now, if you're doing something to your kids, you can do wrong in my eyes. But a man, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just let that slide because karma. Somebody got to do it. Karma is needed. I mean, we talking about sacred energy exchange. Sometimes somebody got to get the lick back for the 10 girls that he did the same motherfucking shit to. Sometimes I'm the drama. I'm okay with that. And I think it'd be catching people off guard because they'd be like, oh, Taja is so sweet and loving when you have her. Taja's also a motherfucker when you don't. Because sometimes I need that. A lot of shit I can let go. Sometimes I need that, though. Because who did you think that I was? Uno reverse, bitch. So, but you got to pick your poison. You got to pick sometimes I like to do shit for the plot. Sometimes I get a little kiki ha-ha out of that shit. Now we both laughing. You just didn't expect it from me, so it's even worse because you didn't even think that was in me. You didn't even think that was in me. Surprise, bitch. Because men be making me mad. Because I grew up in a family full of like abusive men. Meaning like when I was a kid, my uncle was chasing his girlfriend around with my white skate, trying to beat her with. He had every intention of whooping her ass with that. I knew from a very young age about these men. I grew up in a family full of men who are, not only are they women beaters, they are, oh, damn, we got some shit coming out here. All right. We pulling out the big guns, but who are sexually abusive as well to children. So I never gave a man grace. I had seen a video of somebody who was talking the other day and she was like, that she had her moment of being a bird before. And she was like, yeah, because, I was dating this guy and I was paying for his paying. I'm confused already. I've never done that. And it's not even to shade her because I've seen women do that, but I'm not cooking a nigga a meal. I'm not none of that. I'm not doing no wifely duties without wifely commitments. That just ain't never been me. But have I done some bullshit? Yes. Have I been a bird on the ground instead of being a bird in the sky? Yeah. I think we all did in some capacity. You come across the right nigga and you be the wrong bitch. The wrong version of yourself. So it's like, I get it, but I've just been hyper aware because I come from a family full of men who just are terrible. I'm talking about women in and out the door. Like, and they're like, little cuz don't say nothing. No, if she comes in here, she get to talking to me. How you doing? Yeah, he's a cheater. I was that person. I remember one time my daddy started dating this new lady. This is his wife now. But he started dating her. And she was so passive, y'all. She was just like, he could say anything to her. And he was almost like aggressive towards her too. And she would be doing nothing. And she just kind of was like a little docile, delicate fucking flower. He started like yelling at her about something and she just shut up. And I looked, because my mama is a Sagittarius, baby. We don't shut up. And so I was like, you let him talk to you like that? And so I asked her to meet me in the kitchen. I was 15, y'all. I asked her to meet me in the kitchen. I said, he beats women. He beats women. Don't you ever in your motherfucking life let him think that he could beat you. Okay? You need to open your motherfucking mouth and say something to him. Because if you let this cycle continue, you're going to disappear in this relationship. Ever since then, right before I left, I was there for 3 months. Before I left was her first time standing up to him. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Ever since then, she been giving that man hell. Please. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that meek mouth shit. That don't keep a man. You let him know that he could beat you up and he will. I was 15 though. I ain't never played about women because my mama has a lot of integrity. No, he didn't put me out. What he gonna do? I'm his daughter. I'm 15 and I'm in another state. So he just had to take that shit on the chin. And my daddy's an Aquarius, so I have a special affinity for getting underneath his motherfucking skin because somebody needs to pay them motherfuckers back just for existing. Hey, Cambria. So no, I'm just getting my lick back because hold on. Let me finish my spread real quick, y'all. How do we feel about it? All right. Oh, we getting a new beginning, y'all. How are other people influencing this? What's our biggest fears or our biggest hope? Ooh, that's too much. Fuck. I'm gonna take all of that too. What's the potential outcome? Aquarius is a hell no. Like what? No, I'm just gonna have to get you back for that one because I know you was hell. I know you tore them women. I know you was hell because you was hell and you was just my daddy. So, absolutely not. All right, so let's talk about it. Where are we? Damn, there's so much energy out here. We got a lot of energy in shadow too, though. But I honestly feel like we releasing a lot of things, and we trying to come back into a better community with each other, which is good. Oh, girl. And here's the thing: my dad is an Aquarius, and my mom is a Sagittarius. Them two motherfuckers do not belong together. Like I've seen both of my parents fight. And that's why people would be like, oh, Tasha, I just didn't know that you was like that, baby. I grew up in a war zone. Okay? I grew up in a war zone. Sometimes it's just in you, not on you. But my mama was fighting. Like one time the neighbor, my mama gonna get mad at me for saying this because she be getting mad that I be telling her business on the internet. But one time the neighbor's daughter was bullying my brother. And my mama went down there to kind of tell the lady, hey, get your motherfucking daughter because she was big as fuck. You know, and we was tiny kids. This was like a Miss Trunchable type of bitch. And so my mama had went down there because she kept pushing my brother off his bike. You know, my brother's a handsome guy, so I just feel like she liked him. But that's not the way to go about it. You know, back in the 90s, if somebody liked you, they was beating your ass. And that's quite scary because that's what they were seeing in their home is they daddies beating their mama's ass, and that was supposed to be love. And so they would bring that shit into the real world, which is crazy. And so my mama went down there and said something to the lady, and the lady, they was on drugs. And my mama did not know that they was on drugs. And so my mama tells the lady, hey, look, your daughter keeps pushing my son. Like, we need to come to a resolution because, you know, I would hate to beat her big ass up. I was just like, hey, get your motherfucking daughter because I don't play about my child. And so the lady was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she was like, she tells the little girl to come here and was like, you're on punishment for the next 2 days. And my mama said, yeah, that's great and all, but this has been going on for a long time. So it took me everything not to come down here. You're going to have to do better than that. Telling people how to discipline their fucking kids. And then the lady was like, she got upset with my mom, rightfully so, because she didn't tell people how to discipline their kids. But she got upset with my mom, and her and my mom started going back and forth. She called my mama the N-word. Why would you call that lady that? Why would you call her that? She's insane. And so she called her the my mama. Next thing I know, I'm sitting outside of the apartment because me, my brother, and my friend are on this hill, because it was like a hill that was kind of far away. My mama told us to stay in the house, but we didn't stay in the motherfucking house. We know her. We know something is about to happen. So we go and we sit on this little hill. Next thing we know, it's a lot of commotion going on, and then the husband is in the hallway. My mama's mink his ass up, a grown man, way bigger than her. And then the lady comes out, tries to get my mom from the back. My mama beating her ass down the stairs, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then my friend is just like, oh my gosh, your mom is, please be quiet. I'm in the middle of something. And then my mama whoop off in their ass, right? And so we see her starting to come back, to the house. And so we run into the house because we're not too far from the house. We run into the house, and my uncle is there, and she's like, okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to leave because the police gonna come. She leaves. The police come, and my uncle starts giving them her information. And like the lady was like, what's her name? He starts snitching, my uncle. And so he closed that motherfucking door. Me and my brother jumped his ass because why would you be snitching on my mama? My mama can't go to jail. It was terrible. Anyways. But yeah, it was crazy. That both of them is insane. My mama and my dad. They don't give a fuck. But one thing I will say, I've always been protected by my parents. My parents was the type of, they was kind of above, like ahead of their time, because they had kids at like 20 years old, and they came from like traumatic backgrounds. And so both of them gave us a voice. Like we could never we was never silenced in our home. Like our parents listened to what we had to say. And if we was ever in trouble, my mama would come to the school to the point where they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna call your mom. And I'd be like, that's your funeral, bitch. I don't care. Call her if you want to. And then when she would come in, they would think that I would be joking. And so they would be like, oh, Miss Moore, this is what, and my mom would be like, excuse me 1 second. Taja, what happened? So I never felt like I had to lie to my mama. I never, like my mama she is just a fiery. One thing about a Sagittarius, they love you down. They love you down, but she just a nutcase. But anyways, all right, we are so what I asked Spirit, the first question I asked Spirit is where are we at the current moment? What energy are we in? And we are actually in this energy of deception, of this energy of spiritual bypassing, avoidance, and self-censorship, which means that we are weaponizing silence. Okay. And so this is somebody who is going to protect, who is going to withhold the truth to protect their image, avoid consequences, or just to control a situation, like not really tell the full story. And so over time, this creates energetic congestion where breath, thought, and flame kind of lose their integrity. And so this is somebody who is not intentionally trying to be deceptive. Okay. It's just that when you don't tell people what your truth is, you are not moving in integrity, right? It's because, so like, think of it like this. Say for instance, that you have a friend and your friend is telling you things, but you don't necessarily agree with what your friend is telling you. And so you are behind the scenes keeping tally of all this shit, right? Of that you don't like about your friend, but you never really tell her any of these things. And so y'all have a moment where y'all get into an argument, and you bring up all these things, and then your friend doesn't know that you felt any of these ways. And so this whole time she thinking y'all is locked in, right? Y'all are locked in, but y'all really not, because you never made yourself visible in that relationship because you never spoke up. And so most of the time we don't realize that is deception. That is you lacking integrity as a person, because you are not letting people know how you feel. And so the deception could be towards others, but sometimes it's also towards yourself, like just not being honest with yourself about how you feel as well, or like going home and ruminating in it and doing nothing about it. And so this is the risk of spiritual bypassing your pain, because you're wearing spiritual vocabulary and over unspoken words, and so truth withheld for safety becomes distortion in disguise, right? Bam. I asked Spirit, what is the immediate challenge? Like, what are we trying to work through on a collective level? What's our obstacle? And the first thing that I get is generational fear. Generational fear is that survival comes first. Survival comes first. And so a lot of us who grew up in Black households, we had to survive, because we were not resourced in the way that most people are resourced. And when we go out on the street, we get shot in the motherfucking street, and so this is created by inherited family patterns, cultural trauma, or unresolved ancestral experiences. And so one thing you got to understand about our ancestors, they didn't really get a chance to process or integrate because they was literally fighting for their motherfucking life. Right? You are in a very privileged position because you can get a bank account. You can get your own apartment. You can leave that nigga. They couldn't do that because their circumstances were a little bit different. And so this is what we're navigating right now, the hypervigilance that they passed down to us, the limiting belief systems, the fear of expansion. They needed to keep things controlled so they can control the situation, which means that they didn't really want to grow. They didn't really want to change. They just kept their head down and did what they had to do to get through. You get the luxury of breaking this generational fear. But then I also get martyrdom. Martyrdom is love requires sacrifice. So many of us think that love has to be sacrificial. And a lot of times we're the sacrifice to be in community with other people. We don't actually tell people what we need because we're afraid that they're going to leave. And so we think that we got to be the one who prioritizes everybody else's needs in front of our own needs. This is created by over responsibility. A lot of times by family guilt too. Well, that's your family. You're supposed to show up for me. Blah, 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 blah. You know? Witnessing self-sacrificing caregivers as well. A lot of our mamas was like this. And as an adult, it looks like resentment. Resentment is saying you've given more than you've received in return, or you're giving more than you wanted to give, right? It also looks like exhaustion and inability to receive, and guilt around rest. This is what I was motherfucking dealing with just the other day. And so the next question I ask is, what are the unconscious patterns that are moving underneath the surface? What is it that we can't see? The first thing that I get is avoidance, which is a shadow aspect. An avoidant is somebody who says, I can't handle what I feel. That's what an avoidant is. This is created by overwhelm, emotional unsafety, or shame around your emotions, which I think a lot of us are dealing with that. As an adult, though, it looks like procrastination. Procrastination comes from you not thinking you can handle whatever it is that's in front of you. Escapism, dissociating, emotional detachment or inconsistency. Also get the nervous system state of dissociation, which is what we just said. I don't want to be here. That's what dissociation is. A lot of times people who are like, oh, I want a past life. Oh, I don't feel like I belong here, are people who are not accepting of the human experience. These are the people who are trying to live above the human experience, right? The human experience is a feeling experience, but you don't think that you can handle what you're feeling. This is triggered by overwhelmed trauma or emotional flooding. The signs are spacing out, memory gaps. Anytime you have a gap in your memory is because you dissociated, because that felt safer than being where you were. Feeling disconnected or feeling unreal. And so what you need to understand is safety can only return through presence. You have to sit present with yourself. You cannot keep abandoning yourself, because that's what dissociation is. It's self-abandonment. I also get a neglect wound, which means my needs do not matter. That's what a neglect wound teaches you. My needs do not matter. This is created by emotional neglect, emotionally unavailable caregivers, parentification, meaning like you had to be the one in the household who took care of your younger siblings. That is really detrimental to the child, because they lose their ability to be a child, which means that people are now treating them like an adult, which means that people are now treating them like their emotions are an inconvenience, and how they feel about the situation isn't really being considered because your mom needs help. This also can come from a lack of affection, growing up in households where your parents don't know how to receive love, a lack of attunement as well, just not feeling like your parents get you, and then survival focused households, which was my case. Like, we literally were trying to survive every single motherfucking day. So I didn't have time to feel like my needs mattered, because we had we had to deal with what we had in front of us, you know? And so in adults, it looks like emotional numbing, inability to identify your needs, self-neglect, loneliness, difficulty receiving care, and independence as a survival mechanism. Most people think that them being hyper independent is them being strong. No, it's you confusing sovereignty for separation. The only time you ever felt safe is when you were by yourself. The only time you ever felt like people were going to show up. I mean, you're trying to avoid being disappointed by other people, so you do everything by yourself. That is a wound. It's a neglect wound. And then the last thing I get is emotional volatility wound, which is safety can disappear suddenly. And this comes from you having unpredictable parents. Okay. Explosive anger in your household. Addiction. Addiction is a crazy one. Yeah. But the thing about it is we don't realize I'd rather be alone. That is a wound. It's not that you'd rather be alone. It is that you have not found anybody who feels safe enough for you to be in community with other people. And so you got to get around people who actually operate how you operate, which means you have to show yourself. You have to risk the exposure of people actually seeing you for who you actually are. And most of us don't want to do that. Most of us live in a place of aloofness. Aloofness is waiting to see what the fuck they do first before we gatekeeping our personality until we can see what they own. That's not you being authentic in relationships. You know, you got to be authentic in relationships to find the people who you're looking for. You can't do that if you're not speaking up. You can't do that if you just taking it on the chin, if you think that love is sacrificial. Because eventually those sacrifices add up, and then you just looking at them like with resentment because you've given more than you wanted to give. You know? You got to get from around them. And so addiction, emotional unpredictability, chaos, or an unstable caregiver. And as an adult, it looks like hypervigilance, anxiety, nervous system dysregulation, fear of conflict, or over monitoring your environment, which is hypervigilance. All right. So those are the unconscious patterns that we're navigating right now on a collective level. Now, when it comes to what we lost or what we're moving away from, is this Knight of Flame energy, which is bold action. Most of us don't have the courage to move forward. Most of us don't have the passion to move forward because we're just trying to survive, right? We don't want to pursue our purpose because we need to make money. And so I can't go be an artist right now. I can't create my little pottery pots. I can't do that because I'm trying to motherfucking survive. And so we're missing the devotion part. We're missing, and what's crazy is like the way that you manifest the highest potential in this reality is through moving with your truth. But most of us don't feel safe enough to do that because we need to survive, which means that's why we always feel burnt out. That's why we always feel stagnant, because when you're not moving with your truth, you're not able to generate soul energy. It's like breadcrumbs. You got to do more and more and more to build that energy up, right? And so we're losing this ability to actually move, to take bold action towards what we want, to trust our truth within is enough to let it lead us to being devoted to what it is we actually want. Okay, your energy was made to move, but if you're in survival mode, a lot of times you're not going to move because you feel unsafe to move into the unknown. You want to be able to control the situation so you can make money, so you don't have to starve and be homeless in a country that treats homeless people like they the motherfucking problem. This is what we lost. This ability to be courageous, to go after what we want. It's not easy. As somebody who had to do it, is not motherfucking easy. So I ain't gonna sit here and act like that shit is easy. No, the fuck it's not. I had to struggle for the last 2 years before something actually fucking hit. You know, that shit is not for the weak. Next is what is Spirit saying about this? Spirit said we need to stop looking outside of ourselves for answers. We already know them. Love that. When you find something that excites you, go all in and enjoy the ride. Clear your mental and physical clutter. You will feel so much better. Yeah, that's T. That's the T is T. Next is what's the immediate future? And so we get a major card here that's hidden behind impatience. Okay. And so this is the Temple Guardian, but it's coming out in the shadow. And so this is over control, fear of chaos, attachment to structure, which is patriarchy, energetic rigidity, fear of rest, and collapse from overholding everything. So in the shadow, the Temple Guardian can become over curated, over structured, or overly responsible for other people. You may begin to feel like the keeper of order rather than the holder of flame or the holder of your truth, meaning like you're just trying to keep everything together. This card in reverse asks you, are you guarding the flame or controlling the shape? Have you confused structure with sovereignty? There can also be fear of disillusion. Fear that if you let go or shift something, the whole temple will collapse, or deep grief if a temple, relationship, project, or a group has already dissolved. But true temples are alive. They shift, they breathe, and they die to be reborn. You're not failing. The temple is changing form. This is going through the death process. You have to get uncomfortable for shit to work out for you. That's what this basically, you got to get uncomfortable. You know, so this card invites you to honor your limits. Your sacred no is just as holy as your yes. Even guardians must rest. Okay. And so you don't need to build a sacred space. A sacred space cannot be built out of control. It can only be built through clarity and presence. Clarity comes from you dealing with your wounds. Because if you get triggered by somebody and you go home and you ruminate in that shit and you think of all the ways that you should have said something and you talk yourself out of being vulnerable and telling that person how they impacting you, that's you moving from your wounds. Okay. What you should do is figure out figure out what you're feeling. When was the first time you felt that? What need didn't you get met? Figure out what the boundary is. Go back to that person and say, hey, this was the scenario. This is how it made me feel. What was your intention? Let them tell you, because you can't get clarity until you ask the person. So many of us try to figure it out by ourselves, baby. Until you ask that person, you don't know. But it's like, oh, but I already know them. No, you don't. You don't know how they're going to react because you've never been this version of yourself. You've only been the version of yourself that deals with it by yourself. And so until you show up different, they can't show up different. So you go back, you tell them how they're impacting you. You ask them for clarity. It's going to be one of two options. They're going to either hold themselves accountable and it's going to be a good conversation. They're going to be closer. Or they're going to invalidate your feelings, say that, oh, you being too sensitive. Oh, I just won't tell you nothing else. That then you don't need to go into the conversation with them. You need to recognize, oh, this person isn't willing to change. Well, I deserve to be in relationships with people who actually treat my emotions like they matter. Therefore, I need to move in a different direction. Boom. Now you're moving from clarity. Now you didn't just cut them off because you assumed something about them. You cut them off because they weren't able to meet you. That's what clarity is. You got to be able to say no. You got to understand that it's okay for you to rest as well. Don't sacrifice your essence guarding something that's crumbling. Let it crumble, right? On top of that, we have the 7 of Stone. The 7 of Stone. Can y'all hear me? Put some 444s in the chat if y'all can hear me. Because it just said that we cut out or something. Okay. All right. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right. The 7 of Stone. The 7 of Stone is about patience. It's about trusting and timing. And so this is coming on top of this. You got to stop trying to control everything. Okay. Your no is just as sacred as your yes. This is coming off on top of this, which is you understanding that just because you can't see something forming, just because you can't see the proof in the physical reality, don't mean nothing is moving, right? This is about you waiting for the right timing. This is about you understanding that just because you can't see it does not mean that it's stagnant. You are still in the stage of becoming. It's like planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you see that? When you plant a seed, you don't just sprout that motherfucker tomorrow. No, it has to grow down. It has to root down first before it comes up out the soil. You know, just because you can't see the proof don't mean nothing is happening. That's what devotion is about. Devotion is showing up every single day and saying, what's one thing to move me closer to my goal? And just doing that one thing and letting that be enough. It's okay if you have a job. It's okay if you do what you got to do to survive, but you also need to be building your own shit too, right? But it's going to take patience. So that means that you might be in this place where your growth is not visible. It don't mean shit is not happening. The most powerful transformation happens in the dark, where you don't know where you're going. You're just trusting that feeling. It's within the root system beneath the surface of your life. Okay. And so it ensures that your truth rises when you are ready to actually carry it. Okay. And so just because you cannot see it yet does not mean it's not growing. That's what's directly ahead of us. You need to learn how to say no. You need to learn how to rest. You need to stop trying to control everything. And then you need to trust in the timing of things. Okay. The next question that I asked Spirit is, what are our thoughts about this? All right. And we get 2 energies. We want clarity. We're in a place of mental clarity. When we get an ace energy, that means we are in a place of potential. There's so much potential for us to gain clarity right now, but it comes through self-honesty. What you do right now is important, because if we're talking about potential can go either way. It can go either motherfucking way. Okay? Either you're going to keep staying dedicated to the shit that you don't want to happen, or you're going to start focusing on what you do want to happen. Okay? Clarity comes from you being honest with yourself. It comes from you learning how to communicate. Okay. And so the Ace of Breath signals a return to clarity. After confusion, distortion, and silence, the first clear truth begins to rise within. This is a moment of mental coherence, when the fog lifts and you remember something about your soul's voice that cannot be ignored. Now, I made a post a couple of days ago and I was getting a message about power dynamics. And I was talking about how there's a truth rising that cannot be ignored. It's coming whether you want it to or not. And you're going to have a hard time if you do not accept your truth and you're not being honest with yourself, because it's just going to make you more uncomfortable. It's just going to make you more uncomfortable, because this is coming regardless of whether or not you want it to come. And you can't control how you receive this. And so you are better off surrendering to this shit, because we are growing. We are evolving. If you're going to survive this shit, you got to be honest with yourself and you have to go after what you actually want. Okay. And so it may come through a sudden realization, a phrase you speak aloud, or a knowing that pierces through illusion. This is your oversoul speaking. It does not shout. It cuts, though. The first truth does not always feel comfortable. The first truth does not always feel comfortable, but it does feel clean. When this card appears, you're being asked to trust your inner voice, name what you know, and allow your truth to anchor into language, thought, and aligned decisions. When this first truth rises, let it breathe before you try to bury that shit. Consider it before you try to bury it. Okay. Then I get the 10 of Stone. This is about ancestral healing. This is a completion of a cycle that our ancestors went through. What we got to understand is we are the continuation of our ancestors' work. What you got to understand about you is your instincts aren't, you just not good at things because you're good at things. No, you good at it because the ancestors of yours mastered that shit. You owe that to them. You are continuing their legacy. And it's usually your maternal lineage. Y'all not gonna like that I say this, but the intelligence of your sperm comes from your mother. The womb and mitochondria that you carry comes from your mother. Everything always comes from the mother. Why? Because that is the goddess. That is the closest thing to God in this reality is the women in your family. Okay? They can give birth to full fucking souls and humans in this environment. We take that shit too fucking lightly, right? And so this is about generational wealth. This is about lasting impact. This is about rooted belonging and your spiritual inheritance. We are reclaiming our spiritual fucking inheritance. Okay? And so the 10 of Stone is the final arrival, the card that represents the culmination of embodied effort. Not just what you've built in this lifetime, but what you're restoring across timelines. This is a card of legacy, a structure that lives beyond the moment. It speaks to sacred foundations, home, family, lineages, work that lasts. When this card appears, you're being reminded that your presence is a part of a greater temple, one built by your ancestors and expanded by your hands. This is stability available now. There is stability available now and within, a chance to rest in what's been made sacred. It is also an invitation to pass on wisdom, to plant the next seed for those who come after you. The legacy temple does not require grandeur. Meaning you don't got to do something fucking profound. It does not require that. It only asks you, what are you leaving behind that is rooted in soul truth? Can you align with your truth? Your life is the doorway for ancestral healing and future blessings. What you heal, the people behind you won't have to heal. Okay? Because we inherit more than our people's eye color. We inherit how they brace themselves for danger, their survival mechanisms, the shit that they didn't get to process. One of us has to process it. Otherwise, it's going to keep being passed down. But you don't need to understand what they've been through because you lived in that family. You know what has been passed down because you feel the way you feel because they chose silence about how they feel. You don't need to choose silence, and you do the healing in the moment. Okay, this is what is ahead of us. How are other people influencing this? Discernment. Other people are influencing this because you have not mastered your emotional terrain. Okay? What I mean by this is a card of somebody who has faced grief and joy, longing and loss, and has not turned away from it. Instead, he has learned how to hold it all and lead from stillness. This card appears when you're ready to embody emotional integrity. Where did I say your truth come from? Your emotions. Your emotions are the keys that unlock the doors to your truth. Emotional integrity is being honest about how you feel, right? Most of us don't feel like we can do this. So we're being called to bring our full emotional intelligence into form, not as reaction, but as presence. Sit present with it. You don't have to fix every emotion that you have. You don't have to jump into survival mode and think there's something wrong. Emotions are just information moving through you. They're trying to tell you what you need that you have not got. And so the stories that come up when you're feeling an emotion, the story doesn't matter. What you didn't get in the story is what matters. Right? That's what you got to see. That's emotional integrity. That's emotional embodiment. It's noticing that you didn't get something and then going after that, requiring that moving forward. Otherwise, you're going to feel in pain and suffering. Why would you do that when you can just say, hey, I'm a person who needs people who know how to communicate? If we have we've had multiple situations where you're not communicating and that makes me feel like something is wrong or whatever the motherfucking case is. And I need to be in community with people who know how to communicate. Right? The king teaches that true strength comes from not from hardening, which is isolation. That's what you do when you're in isolation, when you withdraw yourself, you harden, but from learning how to feel with discernment. You have to have the experiences. That's the thing that people don't understand. You have to have the experiences to know what it is that you need. If you do not have the experiences, you will not know what you need. From those experiences, you need to take the lesson in a boundary and do something differently next time. That is discernment. You had an experience, you didn't like that experience, you decided that you needed this, you communicated that to the next person so that you don't have to have that experience again. That's discernment. Okay? And so he models what it means to respond, not absorb. And he shows that that love, when anchored in wisdom, can actually cause transformation. Okay? This is emotional power that isn't loud, it's just steady. Right? And so you got to know what you need. And so you got to be able to move in emotional integrity, which also means that you got to feel safe. Most of us don't feel safe. That's why we can't have this emotional integrity, because we're afraid of losing people. We're afraid of loss. We're afraid that people are going to reject us. We're afraid that we won't belong. Who gives a fuck if you belong in a room full of motherfuckers who don't see you? Right. Next is, what are our biggest hopes? What are our biggest fears? This is a soul contract that's being cleared, y'all. This is a soul contract that's being cleared. All right. So the first thing that I get, yeah, this is happening on a collective level. This is great fucking shit. I am happy to hear this. All right. The first thing that I get is the King of Breath in reverse. Okay. This is about rigidity over control. This is about spiritual elitism. Spiritual elitism is thinking that you know better and thinking that people have to do it your way. And if they don't do it your way, something is wrong with them, or you're going to feel some type of way about them. You're going to withdraw your love, whatever it is. You're living above the human experience. Don't act like you don't know how the fuck they feel because you was in a situation that was similar than them. I think sometimes people get out of a situation and now they think they're better than other people because they got out of it. Get the fuck out of here with that. You are living above the human experience. You know what keeps you human? Humility. Do you know what humility is? Compassion. Compassion is a high frequency. Compassion is different than empathy. Empathy is understanding what somebody is going through as a concept. Compassion is putting yourself in their fucking shoes. Right? That is completely different. What you got to understand is, yeah, you have not had the same experiences as other people know, but you have felt what they have felt if you have lived fully. And if you haven't and you don't understand, it's because you're refusing to feel. It's because you're emotionally avoidant. And you don't need to be in no motherfucking relationship with somebody if you're emotionally unavailable, if you're emotionally avoidant, because you're going to make them feel unseen because you're not seeing yourself. Right? And that's what spiritual elitism is. You thinking you know better because you understand something as a concept. But if you've actually felt it, you would have compassion for the person that's standing in front of you. Okay? This is logic over intuition. This is truth as hierarchy. This is somebody having a fixed mindset. Right? If you have a fixed mindset, you are not growing. If you are certain about something, you are not growing. Because understand, what you got to understand is even what you think you know, you don't know. That's the problem with the West is we spiritual bypass. We say if science can't prove it, it does not exist. Half the time they're operating out of concepts and theories that shit don't even exist any motherfucking way. And they don't find out till 100 years later and they got a whole bunch of people moving off a belief system that's not even fucking true. That's why you got to discover your own fucking truth. If you're certain about something, it's you are refusing to move. You're choosing something because you feel like you need to choose something in order for you to feel safe. You don't like not knowing. That's dangerous. That's what Christians are doing right now. I hate that for you, sister girl. I hate that for you, sister boy. Okay. So in the shadow, the breath steward becomes overbearing. The desire to guide turns into this. Oh, I'm sorry. I be catching myself off guard sometimes. I'm sorry. All right. In the shadow, the breath steward becomes overbearing. The desire to guide turns into the need to control. You may find yourself attached to being right, mistaking logic for wisdom, or dismissing emotional or intuitive insights. This king forgets that truth is a shared frequency, not a personal possession. Okay, the truth does not need to be possessed by you. I say that all the motherfucking time. Hey, sister. Hey, Irie. I can't wait to see you. I got my ticket, girl. I got my ticket the day that I text you. I can't wait. I've been screaming it from the fucking mountaintops. But anyways, there's also a danger in spiritual elitism, believing your way is the highest because it is the clearest. Okay, meaning like I figured out what works for me, it must work for other people. You don't know that because y'all are on different journeys. Just because you experience something, just because you figure something out for you does not mean that it's going to work for this person. Because and not only that, sometimes people got to live it under tension until they get motherfucking tired. That's not for you to decide because you don't know what their journey is. We on this highway together, but unconditional love is allowing people to make the choices that are best suited for them because they are the expert in their life, not you. They are with themselves 24/7. You got to trust that they are the best guide for them, even when you can see that they're not doing a good motherfucking job at it. But that's they shit to handle. It's not your job to save and fix them. Don't tie your worth to how helpful you can be to other people, and you won't have to seek external validation through how well you can fix people. Shit. Don't let that go over your motherfucking head. So, anyways, clarity without humility, compassion, becomes confinement. The mind may dominate the room, but forgets how to listen. Listen is how you open. Listening is how you open. If you determine to be right, and I hate to say it, Aries placements. If you care more about being right than you care about the truth, you are not moving. Right? And so you don't need a throne to lead. You just need presence that honors every voice, right? We also have a new beginning again in our purpose. This is purpose. So we're getting clarity of the mind, but we're also getting a new beginning in our purpose. And so again, this is potential. It can go either way. What you do right now is important, but this is your soul purpose. I did say Aries placements. I did, sister girl. I did. But it's with love. Okay. Sometimes y'all, Aries is the infant of the zodiac. And so sometimes y'all be coming in thinking y'all know everything. As somebody who has a Mars in Aries and who dedicated my life to knowing, that be the hurdle you need to get over. Because you know what Aries is trying to learn? Humility, compassion. That's what Aries is trying to learn. Humility, compassion. And so one energy is Aries energy. It's the energy of self. It don't need nobody else. Right? But the truth is you do. Yeah. Clock that. Now, new beginning, create a fire. And so something ancient and luminous is stirring in all of us. Something ancient is coming to the top. Oh, I love this conversation. I love this. Okay. Something ancient and luminous stirs an undeniable pulse of purpose. The spark arrives as the first flicker of your true flame, a whisper from the oversoul calling you to create, awaken, and remember. This card signals the beginning of a soul-aligned path, an idea, vision, or knowing that seeks to ignite your reality. You may not yet know where the flame will lead you, but its presence confirms that the field has shifted. We have shifted into something else. There's a truth coming up that we cannot deny. We are shifting. A threshold is opening. You're being invited to tend to the embers gently, to trust what is emerging, even if it feels unfamiliar. The spark is a gift, not a demand. Let it guide you into alignment, not urgency, which means that you don't really need to know where you're going. You're going to have to be in the dark. As you can see, your purpose is what lights the dark, but you won't have to be in that motherfucking dark. Okay. Which means you ain't going to know where you're going. You just have a feeling that you're following, and you got to keep being devoted to that feeling, even if it does not show you results. Right. This is a part of a soul contract that needs to be cleared. Okay. And this is coming out in the shadow, which means guilt-based service. We have been operating on guilt-based service. We feel we feel obligated to other people. We feel like it is our duty to save other people. This is spiritual obligation. This is karmic entrapment. This is over responsibility that leads to burnout. Right? This is soul fatigue. And so in the shadow, the soul contract can reflect a weight of unhealed obligation. You may feel bound to serve in ways that drain you, uphold roles that no longer resonate, or sacrifice your own well-being for others' evolution. This is a martyr wound masquerading its purpose. I can't tell y'all how many people come to me and they say, my job is to help people heal. No, it is not. Believe it or not, that's not a lot of people's job, because a lot of people didn't come here for a life of service. Okay. I did, unfortunately, very ghetto, wouldn't recommend. But the reason why you feel that way is because you have been hurt. And hurt people are either going to do one or two things. They're going to perpetuate the hurt that they went through, or they're going to try to protect other people from having to experience it. And so you feel obligated to heal other people when it's not your job. It's not your job. Plus, you don't heal, fix, and save people by heal, fixing, and saving them. You heal, fix, and save people by becoming the embodied example for them to see, living in your truth visibly as this new version of you, and allowing them to witness you as this new version of you. As you can see, I haven't done anything to try to help anybody heal. However, I have a platform full of people who write me almost consistently like, you changed my life, you impacted me. The only thing I did was live visibly in my truth. You got to witness that and you benefited from that. That's the gag. You don't need to teach them. You need to be the thing and allow them to witness you. And so one thing that happened that shifted the dynamic within my relationships is, like, I remember one time I was in a car. I mean, me and my mom and my brother were talking about something, and a friend was going through a situation that was very similar to a situation my brother had went through years before. Like, I'm talking about 9-10 years before. And I was basically talking about how I was navigating the situation. My brother got offended. He was like, when it was my turn, you did X, Y, and Z. So why the fuck you doing that for her? You need to do her like you did me. And I was just like, noted. I apologize. I wish I was this version of myself when you were going through that, because I see how much that hurt you. And I'm really sorry that I impacted you in that way, because you deserve somebody who could show up for you in the way that I'm showing up for her right now. But just because I wasn't able to be that person for you don't mean that I get to repeat that same thing, because you see how that hurt feel. Why would you want me to do that to somebody else? You know? And he was like, yeah, because of something. Wait, what? Yeah, gotcha. So you don't need to teach them how to do it. You need to be the thing. You need to hold yourself accountable when it's time to hold yourself accountable. You need to communicate with compassion when it's time for you to communicate with compassion. Understand that validation is a God response. I cannot apologize for the version of myself. I mean, I cannot tell people how I made them feel, period. I will never tell somebody how I made them feel, because then I'm telling you to believe my truth over your own truth. If I love you, I would never do that. I can tell you what my intention was, though. My intention was never to hurt you like that. I see how badly that impacts you. I'm sorry about that. I wish I could have been different for you. And just like that, the argument that was about to happen is gone. Why? Because I am a different person, and I show now my brother feels safe talking to me about a lot of things. Why? Because I gave him the space to feel how he feel without trying to manage how he feel. Instead, I just acknowledged it. That is how you teach people. It's not through what you're doing, it's through who you are. It is who you become. Put the ego down and recognize that if somebody's telling you that they hurt you or you hurt them, you don't get to decide that you didn't. You don't get to tell them that you did it. You don't get to argue the semantics of shit. If they say you hurt them, you did. Because you're not a person who can control your impact. The only thing you can do is tell people your intention. You are going to unintentionally hurt people. It's just a part of life. In the process of you doing you, you're going to accidentally do them. Right? When that happens, the only thing you can do is hold yourself accountable. And ain't no shame in that. I want the people that I'm in community with to feel safe enough coming to me with the shit they're going through, because it's me and them against the problem. It's not me and them against each other, because ain't no competition over here. I love you. And I know that I don't have a malicious intent. And you might not be able to see that right now because I've done things that seem malicious to you. But the only thing I can do is clear my intention. You know? And so you show people the accountability. You don't try to make them be accountable, because a motherfucker who don't want to change is going to be determined to misunderstand you. And then you're going to be beating a dead horse. If the horse is dead, it don't matter how many times you hit that horse. It's not going to feel it. You're wasting your motherfucking energy. Right? So anywho, there's a soul contract that's coming up. You may feel bound to serve in a way that drains you, uphold roles that no longer resonate, or sacrifice your own well-being for others' evolution. You don't need to sacrifice yourself for other people's evolution. This is the martyr wound masquerading as purpose. It is not your purpose to save other people. Savior energy comes from religion. You didn't come here to save. You came to give the truth from your experience. People are going to have a problem with that. Why? Because they are being told that a white man with a blowout is coming out the sky with a trumpet to save them. Why you ain't saving them? It's not your job to save them. You have to know that, because if you're in a saving energy, you're leaking your energy. You cannot get your energy back if you are leaking it. You're going to feel exhausted. You're going to feel depleted. And you might even get an energy attachment because you're leaking fucking energy, because your job was not to save them. Your job was to tell the truth from your perspective. Do they have to agree with that truth? No. Do they need to move with that truth? No. Do they need to embody that truth? No, because it's your truth. It's not their truth. You know? So you may also carry vows that are outdated, which means when I get this card, it's time for you to pay attention to the patterns. It's time for you to pay attention to the patterns right now, because we're in a place of potential. It can go either way. Pay attention to the patterns. Okay. And so you may also be operating out of vows that are all outdated, like poverty, silence, codes of spiritual servitude that no longer serve your oversoul path, trying to carry everybody weight. Okay, these unconscious promises can keep you looping in exhaustion, guilt, or energetic bondage. So where are you giving your power away? Where do you feel responsible for other people? That's what the fuck you need to be asking yourself right now. Sometimes soul contracts are complete before the mind catches up. Okay, if this card appears, you are resisting the release. Ask yourself, is this still mine to carry? Not every sacred agreement is eternal. You don't need to uh do it for the rest of your motherfucking life. All right. Some are fulfilled when you reclaim your freedom. This card invites deep discernment and compassion. Some contracts are can now be completed. Others must be rewritten in alignment with your current sovereignty. Your soul did come to serve, but never to suffer endlessly for that service. Okay. Don't confuse loyalty for imprisonment. Let's talk about that. But that's my family. I'm supposed to show up for them. If I got $50, they got $50. That's self-abandonment. That's self-betrayal. You're saying their needs are more important than your needs. If you got $50, you don't got shit to give to nobody. How far can you stretch that $50 in this motherfucking economy? You can make enough food for both of y'all. Maybe. But even that's crazy because you only give to other people when you're in a state of abundance. Proper support, nurture, care for other people is built on foundation of self-love. Okay, you need to love yourself in so much abundance that you have all this extra to give to other people. But once you get to your cup, and you're not pouring over no more, you don't got none. You don't got none. You know, the fact that they restricted my live is really crazy to me. Oh, it's because I told y'all to get crystals. That's really crazy to me. Anyway. And then we got a community card coming out. Okay. This is coming out teamwork. We are coming back into better relationship with other people. This is about sacred building. This is about us having shared purpose, right? But first, you need to figure out what you need. Then you need to practice being in community with other people so that you find out how to show up as that version of you so that you're not abandoning yourself to be in community with other people. Then we can create together. That's what's happening. And so this is about aligned creation. It's about co-weaving contribution. The Three of Stone arises when the flame begins to take form with others. It marks a time of shared effort where your gifts are met and mirrored by the talents of others. This is not mere teamwork. It's collaboration through frequency. Each person holds a piece of the blueprint. Together we build the temple. This card affirms that you're not meant to do everything alone. Whether your calling is soul clients, creative allies, or mentors, support is aligning around you. You're being asked to honor contributions, speak your vision, and co-create with clarity and trust. I called down justice. Yeah, I did. I called down justice. And then I got a group of people together, and we did collective work on Barbo's basket to call down justice. And so the spirits are actually on our side right now. That means you're not alone. You just need to learn how to ask. But it's a sacred energy exchange. Remember, it's a sacred energy exchange. You don't need to beg. You need to ask. When you pull this card, reflect who is building beside me. Do I allow others to witness and contribute to my work? This is a moment to receive help. Give your part with devotion. And remember, you are not here to carry the vision alone. Your soul work expands when others are invited to shape it. And the last card that I get is the oversoul ache in return. Okay. This is somebody who is spiraling in shame, somebody who is hyper aware, so much so that they're over processing and they're disconnecting from their oversoul, which is their truth. This is somebody who has a guilt around rest. Okay. And we're talking about what is our biggest hope? What is our biggest fear? Our biggest hope is that we get this new beginning in our purpose. Our biggest hope is that support is on a motherfucking way. Our biggest fears, not being able to stand in our truth, not dissolving these soul contracts of martyrdom that we've confused for service and purpose, self-punishment, being stuck in a self-punishment loop. Okay. You may feel like you should be further along. You should have it all figured out, or you should be able to hold all downloads without faltering. This pressure can lead to chronic overthinking, spiritual burnout, and a feeling of abandonment by your oversoul. But the truth is, the silence you perceive is not absence. It is a call to deepen your embodiment, which means get in your body, which means feel more. Stop thinking, feeling. The mind is trying to carry what only rest can process. Go to sleep, take your rest. I'm telling you, I woke up a whole new bitch. I got up, I did my fucking makeup. I did my hair. I put on earrings. I smell good. I look good. I feel good. I got my nails done. I got my feet done. I plucked a little bit of eyebrow. I haven't done that in a while, girl, because I was under spiritual attack. Get up. If it's hard to go to sleep, it's because you're avoiding your truth. Because our truth comes through dreams. If it's hard to go to sleep, it's because you're avoiding what your oversoul has to say. You don't want to know it because it's going to require you to be a different person. And so what I would do is sit in stillness, and I would just focus on my breath and focus on listening for about 7 minutes. After that 7 minutes is up, you need to call forward the version of yourself that is struggling with sleep. All you need to say in your head is, I call forward the version of myself that is struggling with sleep. And you tell that person what she needs to know. You do not need to fear what you do not understand. You do not need to fear what you know. Your dream space is sacred. And I'm going to put protection over that dream space. And you should put protection over your dream space, because motherfuckers will try to get you in the liminal space. Okay? It is okay for you to be afraid of what you do not understand, but we don't need to know everything. So I give you permission to rest so that we can move forward as a different version of ourselves. But we need to be able to rest. We need to be able to heal. This is very important to us. And then I see a rope that looks like the rope when you're about to have a grand opening. And I say, I am hex, I am cross, I am bind. And I clip that motherfucking rope and I see it fall away. And then I say, if there's any energy feeding off of this energy where I feel guilty for resting, or where I cannot get comfortable enough to rest, or I feel afraid of the unknown, I am unavailable to you. And then you take your ass to sleep. Mugwort's tea definitely helps. Copal helps as well for astral protection, but I say get it in the resin, because the resin is ancient. But I digress. You need to start setting your space though. Clean your sheets, clean your beds, do all the things. Set your intention before you go to sleep. Talk to the version of yourself that's struggling. Tell her to rest. A hex, uncross, unbind. Be unavailable to the energies that's feeding off of that, because you are the divinity in your life. You get to say what goes. They can only be in your space because you gave consent unconsciously, and silence is consent. Silence is consent. So you got to say no with your whole being. I do that all the time. Every time there's a version of myself that comes up, and I'm just like, damn, bitch, you're not letting me get ahead. I go right into med. I go and talk to sister, because that means she's standing in place looping. You don't need to do that. Sit down. Let me handle this. Right? You are not failing. You are fatigued. That is what you need to understand. You are not failing. You are fatigued. Go to sleep. Don't judge yourself for needing sleep and needing rest. You probably been running on motherfucking fumes for 35, 45, 50 years. Okay? What's the potential outcome? I get the page of water, but it's coming out in the reverse. Lack of boundaries, oversensitivity, ungrounded feelings, escapism, which is where we are right now. You stay in the same motherfucking place. The water bearer becomes ungrounded in their emotional landscape. You may feel overwhelmed by feelings lacking discernment about what's yours and what's others, or projecting fantasies onto people and situations. This page may also signal emotional maturity, approaching love or intuition with wishful thinking rather than embodied wisdom, meaning you ain't taking the action. You're not walking it like you talk it. You just hoping that something is going to change. You standing in place waiting for something to happen without actually taking the action towards what it is that you want. There's beauty in openness, but without grounding, it can lead to confusion, disappointment, and burnout. The advice is feeling deeply is a gift, but learn how to carry your cup. Okay? If you do not move and use this potential to your advantage, you are going to be stuck in this place, because there is a split that is happening. What they keep calling New Earth, that's happening in the next couple of years. The grid will be stabilized in 2030. I can't remember if it's 30 or 33, but one of those. 8 years from now. What's 8 years from now? Then that's when the grid stabilizes. And that's when the split will be kind of solidified. The grid will be stabilized at that time. And so either you're going to be living in that reality, or you're going to be living in this reality. How do we feel? Was that good? Yeah? No? Maybe so? Well, good. I just wanted to hop on here and chat about life. This will be on my YouTube. A little beat up, but positive. Okay. I'm sorry, friend. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because I be getting beat up too, girl. Um, this will be on my YouTube, y'all. My YouTube is BIGTAJJ. Thank you. I'm probably gonna go to sleep again because I'm just gonna keep sleeping until I come fully alive. I'm just gonna stay asleep as much as I possibly can because I needed to get up with that energy. Like, bitch, what are you? Get your ass up. What the fuck is you doing? I needed to have that moment with myself. So I could start feeling like myself again. Because I almost forgot that I was a bad bitch. I literally almost forgot. I almost forgot that was there. So yeah, I'm grateful too. You're welcome, my love. What did you say? How do you bring clarity to your spiritual gifts? You listen. You move with your truth. Pay attention to how things make you feel, and you go towards the things that feel good, and you stay away from the things that don't feel good. Don't ignore them. Figure out why they don't feel good to you and what boundary you need to set. See the beauty in that experience because you would not know what you know if you had not had that experience. Move the fuck on. You are welcome, my love. All right. I just wanted to hop on here and say that and give y'all that. This will be on YouTube. I don't know what I'm going to name this though. Maybe collective reading for August 10th. Rebirth. Something like that. I don't know. But as soon as we hang up, it'll be on YouTube. I just want to hop on here though and make myself visible and just tell y'all the conclusion that I came to this morning. Oh, good. I've been doing a lot of animal communication. I actually need to post some videos from some of the animal communications I did last week. I've only been sharing the juicy ones though, because some of them are just like them talking to their owners and just, telling them things that need to kind of work on. So that's been interesting for sure. Thank you. I actually really love doing those readings. I've had some really great conversations. I've met some really great people too, which has been really cool. I think it's opened some opportunities up for me, which is awesome. I just kind of want to keep doing what I'm doing though. I swear my chickens think I'm stupid. Chickens think everybody's stupid. They are bad. Period. But yeah, I really enjoy doing these readings. Like I really genuinely do. And so I'm creating more space for that because when I offered it, I was like, oh, this is just something fun I can do, and then it just turned into a whole thing. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, people actually want this. Okay. I'm used to helping people. I'm used to helping people and not animals. But now that I have the relationship with the animals, it's just like, oh, the animals are actually helping people. What if, because here's the thing is when you're moving with your truth, you manifest the highest potential. And so if that clicked for me, it's because I'm supposed to be doing it. And so that kind of shifts things a little bit for me on what I'm going to be offering. I think I'm still going to do consultations and divinations. I'll probably still do mediumship just because I think it's a hard. My spiritual journey started from me losing people in my life and me going to a medium and the medium telling me something that I needed to hear, and so I'll probably still do mediumship. I'll probably still do consultations and divinations. And then I'll probably just do animal communication. Like I'll probably cut it down to just those three things. And then I don't know if I want to continue soul school just because I don't like chasing people down for money. I really just genuinely don't. I don't like some of I think when money is involved, sometimes people's insecurities come out in such a nasty way. And I just don't have the patience for that. I understand it because we live in a reality, money is tight, like for everybody, so I just don't know what that looks like for me. I'm absolutely going to take the people who are in soul school right now. Of course, I'm going to take them through the process. But I want to find another way for me to connect with people and for us to kind of just grow and evolve together. And I just feel like my lives are enough to do that. I don't know if I need to put it behind a paywall. I don't know if I need to do all of that. I think that was just me trying to control who had access to knowledge, but knowledge is not for me to possess. The first week of soul school, Spirit told me that. And then I also found out like people were sharing some of the stuff that I was sharing in soul school. And that's my work. That's my intellectual property. And I felt some type of way about that. So I said something and the Spirit checked me and was like, knowledge is not yours to the possess. Blah, 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 blah. Ideas, belong to everybody. It's just like, okay, yeah, I get that, but I put this shit together. Why are you sharing my shit? Like, if this is supposed to be a private environment, why would you be doing that? You know? So like then it just was irritated me. And so but I get what Spirit is saying though. Knowledge is not supposed to be gate kept and possessed. You know, I think knowledge should be free to other people. Um, and so I just don't know if I want school to be a service for other people, or if I want to keep creating these documents and these things that could try to help people, because it upsets me when I feel like people think that they could just take my work and give it to people as if they don't have to come through me to get it. Like, oh, well, I paid for it. It belongs to me now. I can share it. No, that's not how shit like that works. And so I just don't like some of the things that have been happening. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't always happen, but it's just like I am a medium, so I'm aware of when shit is happening. And so hyper aware, if I may say so myself, like I could see the shit happening. But I also think it was a really beautiful experience though. I love Soul School so much. Like I love it so much. Like some days I'll be having a rough day and then I hop on Soul School and it's just like my energy just pulls up, you know? So it's just like I'm in this place of refining what I'm doing and what's important to me. And I also just want to give people more access, you know? Yeah, that's where I teach people psychic development and stuff like that. So I think people need a safe environment because again, I told y'all I went to somebody and she took advantage of me. So I started doing this because I didn't want people to be taken advantage of. But that makes me wonder if I'm just doing this to try to protect people. I'm trying to save people again. I'm doing this to try to protect people from the experience I had. It doesn't mean that it's authentic to me, and that's the problem. I am a teacher, but I don't think I'm a teacher in that way. I'm a teacher in this way and just speaking my truth, you know? And so that's what I realized. And that's the part that's hard because I also don't want to disappoint people. But at the same time, I can't disappoint me trying not to disappoint you because I only can do what I'm capable of doing. And so me realizing that I did that because I was trying to protect people from the same experience I had is me realizing that I was operating out of me trying to save other people. And that cannot last. That is fear, you know? And so there has to be something different that happens within Soul School or the way that I'm doing it. And I just would rather do it like this, you know? I just would rather do it like this. Y'all, I genuinely be just telling y'all my truth. I do not need advice. I promise y'all I don't. I actually really hate advice from other people because I know how to guide myself. I'm just telling y'all in case y'all have a similar experience as I do, you know? But y'all don't have to take my advice either. Um, I don't know yet because I don't know if I'm doing it again, y'all. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm doing it again. Um, or how I'm doing it again. I just think that maybe it'll be a situation of live, like going live or something and just talking about the topics I want to talk about or um but it's a really beautiful experience though. Like we kind of talk, we kind of I give them like prompts and stuff. And then they come into class and we kind of mirror, like meaning like I call people up and I have people share kind of like what they learned through their experience. And then I let them know like, hey, this is a wound. This is what I would do. You know, it's like it's really beautiful. Like it really is. And so it's like I don't want to rob the world of that because it's such a beautiful experience for me and also for other people. But I'm also just trying to figure out a way for me to do this in a way that I am not moving from a place of trying to protect something from happening and I'm moving from a genuine place, you know? And so like that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. And that's what I'll probably need to figure out before the end of this year. Because we're month 6. We're starting month 6, which is really cool. This week we're starting month 6. And it's a 9-month program. And so yeah, I just got to figure out how I'm doing it, which is going to take me a little second. Um, but the people who are already in the program, I'll kind of see them through for sure, just because I don't want to disrupt them. But I just got to figure out another way to do that. So, and my life is changing very quickly right now. And I also don't want to, because I've done something out of trying to protect other people. I don't want that to block my blood, my actual blood, like things that I'm actually supposed to be doing because I've tied myself up in something else. And so that I'm just in a place of trying to be honest with myself, which is hard because that shit is hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to be honest with yourself and to realize you did something out of fear instead of what you actually wanted. Um, and so I just got to kind of sit with that and figure out how I can do it in a way that's beneficial for everybody and it doesn't really cause me to leak energy in the way that I have been, even though I get really excited about it, even though I love those sessions. Like I'm telling you, it really is profound. It really is. And the community that we're building over there is amazing. It really is. And I want other people to experience that. But it's just, I have to find a way to do that in a way that does not suck me dry. Um, because I'm finding out that I'm supposed to be doing something with the animals, which is really, I don't even think it's just the animals. I think I'm a harmonizing energy. I'm supposed to bring us back into connection with source, which is humans, elementals, animals, plants, all of those things, you know? And so um I'm just discovering a new truth about myself that can't be ignored. And everybody is having a truth that's coming up that really can't be ignored. And this just happens to be mine. And so I'm just trying to figure out a way to still give y'all this information, to still, you know, and I really just enjoy content making. Like I like just popping up my video, doing my little 10-minute video, posting that online, going about my day. I like coming on live when I want to come on live, but I don't want to be tethered to that. And so I also feel like the truth from my perspective, it should be free. I don't think that I want to put it behind a paywall because I'm not going to be teaching anybody anything anymore. I'm going to be sharing the truth from my perspective and what I've learned, which is just a different energy than trying to teach somebody something. And I think this whole time, that's what Spirit has been trying to show me. Like even when I did all this work, putting the curriculum together and everything, and like a week before we go into soul school, Spirit was like, yeah, you're not doing that. You're not using any of that. And that's why you can't get it together. And I was just like, what? Well, what am I? You're teaching from presence, which is just what we're doing here. You're teaching from presence. And I just was like, oh, I don't trust myself to do that. And so I had to work through that because that was hard for me because I'm so used to having a plan, you know, a strategy. And then I did it and it went well. It was beautiful, you know. It turned out to be exactly what it needed to be, which was awesome. But I just need a different, I don't know. I just need to do it in a way that more people can have access to where it doesn't have to be behind a huge paywall. 144 at the top. That's crazy. Um, it doesn't have to be at the top. And I feel recharged by it, you know? So that's kind of what I'm figuring out. Um, and it's crazy because I don't think if I would not have slowed down and taken the rest that I needed, that I would have been able to see that because I'm so used to just keeping my head down and just working in an exhausted state, you know? And so like me slowing down, me going to sleeping all those days in a row and me getting up energized just made it so clear to me. And I was just like, oh, this is probably why you felt the way that you felt in these last 2 weeks and you didn't understand what you were feeling. Um, and so sometimes it's something that makes you, it's hardest when it's something that makes you feel good. It's something you love doing. That is hard for you to just say, oh, I'll let that go. It's also hard with people that you like. I like you. Damn, it sucks. I'm gonna have to let you go. Like it's that. That's the hard part. Is like once you know your truth, you gotta move with it, which means that um you're evolving and growing, which is a good thing, but it doesn't always mean that you made an informed decision about what your truth was at the time that you made a decision, you know? So that's where we are. All right. I love y'all. I gotta go because I kind of just want to take my clothes off. So I want to go put on gym clothes and watch a TV show or something because I haven't done that in such a long time. And so there's so many TV shows that are coming out right now, and I'm not even caught up on anything because I'm just, or maybe just go watch the sunset because the sun about to set in like an hour. And so yeah, hey. Um, anyways, that's the vibe. So I love y'all. This will be on YouTube. I think I'm gonna name it the Rebirth Process and the channel message. That's what I'm gonna name it. And it will be, oh, thank you, Vanessa. It will be on the tube after we get off. Okay. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Alrighty.